Yo. Alright, we live? Alright, yo, what is up, folks? Jay the Gray here. Welcome back to another podcast here today. I just had to check if we were live real quick. And let me let the people know that we are live currently. Hope you're all doing well. I'll let the people know that we are live quickly, and we shall begin this pod. We should begin the pod. Give me a second here. Hope all is well, folks. Hope all is well. What's going on, Kedrick? Thanks for coming in. So we got some questions here that you folks have asked. So I shall get into them shortly. Give me a second while I let the people know we are live real quick. And we shall begin. Give me 1 second, folks. Almost there. Alright, let's get down to business, folks. It is now complete. Let us begin. So, first question asked from you guys in the Discord, if you guys want to join my Discord, it's in the description below, is what would the Akatsuki's threat level be in One Punch Man? This includes Obito and Madara. Alright, so the person who asked this question provided an image of the categories of threat levels presented in the One Punch Man universe. From the image, it seems that it's based off how dangerous you are to humanity. So I would say they would be a threat to all of humanity. They would threaten the whole world. I mean, it makes sense, right? They're shinobi with advanced physiology compared to the average human. They'd obviously be a world level threat, especially if they have Jubidara, who's minimum small planet level at the bare minimum. So that makes sense. But yeah, that's an interesting question though. And as regards to Saitama, now that's a different question. How would they stack up against him? Truthfully, I'd have to do more assessment on him. I'm not too familiar with his abilities. I haven't been that deep into One Punch Man lately. But yeah, they'd be a threat to humanity for sure. So, alright. Thoughts on Hunter x Hunter being mid? So personally, I have not really seen Hunter x Hunter. I'm not too familiar with it. But it is on my bucket list, personally. I do want to watch in the foreseeable future. And personally, I've only heard good things about it. I haven't really heard bad things about it. A lot of people say it's their favorite anime or damn near at the top of their list. So to me, that means that the narrative is very good, right? I haven't asked hardcore anime power scalers about it, but I've asked, the casual fan. They seem to really enjoy the narrative and the whole canvas painted by the writers. So I gotta check that one out myself eventually. So, all right. So, next question: how strong is Aoba from Naruto? Great question. As you can see on the screen, he's omnipotent. Here's why. He transcends space and time, similar to Kakuzu in the Ramen guy. Right? He's just something else in that universe. His raw durability and omnipotence has allowed him to survive world-level threats unscathed, and is a true Sigma shinobi. So you guys heard it here first, folks. Aoba is omnipotent, has survived multiple world-level threats, and has raw durability like Kakuzu, as evident by him surviving these world-level threats. So, there you guys have it. He's omnipotent. It's one of the themes of today's videos, for sure, So, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me, by the way, in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, folks, and I shall answer. Let's continue on with the questions already asked. Who wins, Itachi Part 1 or Jiraiya Part 1? Okay, so this is I wouldn't say heavily talked about matchup in the Naruto fandom. Not anymore, at least I hope so, personally. But it's still talked about, and people still debate about it. But this is the honest truth. Itachi is significantly superior to Orochimaru, who was relative to Jiraiya because of what he did to Orochimaru as a 14-year-old, right? What he did to him. He destroyed him. He didn't have to even look at him when he had him in Tsukuyomi. And let him live, by the way. People think he had a killer intent. He did not. He just warned him and said, as long as I have these eyes, you're fodder to me. And that's basically what he did. So Itachi would defeat Jiraiya. Now, I have to bring this up as well. Itachi saying that him and Kisame would both die for facing Jiraiya isn't a valid statement to use in favor of Jiraiya, because Itachi was undercover with loyalty to Konoha. Right? He was loyal to Konoha the entire time. This entire time, the whole plot of Naruto, he was undercover the whole time until his secret came out, obviously. So this indicates that Itachi was just trying to avoid fighting a fellow Konoha shinobi, which would have also resulted in him exposing his true motives to the Akatsuki, which would not have ended well, right? So he had to keep up this act like Jiraiya is the shit, when in reality he could have taken Jiraiya out. He could have taken Orochimaru out. He didn't even touch him. He didn't even look his way, and he had him in Tsukuyomi. So it's that simple. It's not really a debate, to be honest, when you think about it like that. I know people revere that statement as something that he meant literally, that him and Kisame would die, and they revere Jiraiya because of that, but it's not a valid statement, nor is it a genuine statement made by Itachi. It really isn't. So keep that in mind when speaking of Jiraiya versus Orochimaru. By the way, folks, if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to ask. And make sure to hit the like button, by the way. Make sure to hit the like button. It is greatly appreciated. So make sure you hit the like button as well. All right, let's continue on with these questions. See what else we have here. Yo, what's going on, Luis? Thanks for coming in. We've just begun the anime journey in today's podcast. So, next question. Well, this is similar, but I'll answer it. Who wins, Itachi or base Jiraiya? I mean, if he doesn't even have access to Sage Mode, he's getting stomped. Jiraiya is stomping him. There's no questions asked about that. So, Itachi would destroy base Jiraiya. Jiraiya's only hope is Sage Mode, and even then, I'd still say he would be defeated. So, all right, let's continue on. Let's see here. Let me take these off the screen now. That's better. Okay. If Naruto and Sasuke were both fully bloodlusting during the Momoshiki arc, who do you think would win? No Baryon mode, of course. Okay, so of course we gotta remove Baryon mode because this would end quickly if Naruto could use Baryon mode. So this matchup would be a game of inches in my opinion. More so for Naruto, arguably, because Sasuke could BFR him with his interdimensional teleportation and leave him stranded. So if he's able to successfully do that, Naruto would just lose due to it would be like a no contest, but he would essentially lose and be stranded in some other dimension where he can't get out. He doesn't have that ability. So that would be very dangerous for Naruto if he were to face Sasuke, who had killer intent, right? They're both bloodlusted. So, however, Naruto, knowing Sasuke so well, would be aware of this and maybe use his clones to strategize against it. He would think of something to strategize against that, the ability to get BFR'd by Sasuke, right? It would be closely contested, as was their battle in the Valley of the End, and at the end of Shippuden. Also keep in mind, I still think that they're relative, even post nerf. But the point is, full power Naruto and Sasuke were implied, I think, by the writers to be relative. I mean, just look at their fight with Momoshiki. They were both moving side by side, basically at the same speed, doing the same amount of damage, etc. So I think Kishimoto wanted to emphasize that they're relative, that they're both the top dogs in the shinobi world. So I think they would be relative towards each other. So it would be contested. It would be tightly contested. Here's the thing about Sasuke. He doesn't really use that BFR ability. So he doesn't really use that BFR ability very much. Even when he had the ability against against Naruto in the Valley of the End, he didn't really use it there either. Right? Why didn't he use it? I don't know. Maybe it's his pride. Maybe he says, I don't need that. I could take him out without it. But who knows? Maybe a more wise Sasuke, older Sasuke would do it. I don't know. That could be a possibility for sure. But this is a tough battle. But I might lean towards Naruto, considering he did beat Sasuke in the Valley of the End, and they were relative at that point. Naruto was also not using killer intent. Didn't have killer intent while Sasuke did. But if they're both bloodlusted, that would insinuate they both have killer intent. and Naruto would go all out. So I lean towards Naruto, but again, that interdimensional teleportation is a problem because if he uses that and he gets Naruto out of their dimension, he's fucked. So it's a toss-up matchup, rightfully so. Right? They're intended to be relative. Are you gonna be doing the stream solo or bring people on? I'm gonna try to set up that call-in thing for maybe a future podcast, and hope maybe have a co-host. It's me solo again, so I think if I had a co-host, it would go smoother. And I gotta figure out how I would set that up, by the way, too. So, but I will be doing a call-in type of thing. So, what's going on, Cody? Let's continue on. If you guys have any questions, by the way, again, you can ask. So, let's continue on here. Alright. If you could be part of any village in Naruto, which one would you be in? Well, definitely the Leaf Village, since on a bounce of probabilities, the strongest shinobi have come out of there. So I'd want to be in the safest village possible, especially if I'm not a shinobi. If I'm just a regular human, like in our reality, I don't want to be safe. If I'm in the fucking Mist Village, I'm gonna get slaughtered. Especially when it was the Blood Mist Village, when they were killing each other and trying to establish superiority. I want to live definitely in the Leaf Village, especially if Naruto's Hokage, right? He was the top dog in the Boruto era for a while. Either way, no matter what village you live in, at this point, people seem kind of fucked because right now, currently, the cyborgs are more powerful than anyone. The only people that stand a chance now are Boroshiki and Kawashiki. They're the only ones that stand a chance. But I would choose the Leaf Village anyway, still. So, do you watch basketball? I'll tell you what, I'll answer that question in a bit. And like this says right here, super chat questions are prioritized. So if you want me to answer it now, super chat question would make me answer it now. So imagine living in a sound village. Exactly. Hell no. You're getting slaughtered for sure. Not really a related question, but will you react to more Bleach content like from Seth Clatterchuck? Actually, it's a good question because I'm going to give my review on Bleach so far. I haven't finished it, but I'm getting in there. I'm learning more about the Bleach universe and how power scaling seems to work, how it seems to work in that verse. It's very interesting, but I'll get to that soon. And yes, I do plan on reacting to more Bleach content as I learn more of Bleach. I try not to react to things I don't know much of because then I can't give my input. So it is kind of meaningless, to be quite honest. But yes. All right, so would you rather be an Uchiha or an Uzumaki? I would say an Uchiha since I would have a Sharingan and I would have relative precognition and superior genetics in the Shinobi world, right? The Senju and the Uchiha have the superior genetics. I mean, look at the monsters that have come out of those clans. Hashirama, Madara, Sasuke. You got Tobirama, Tsunade, Fugaku. Some monsters. In the Uzumaki clan, Naruto is a special case because he was a Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Not to say he wouldn't be strong anyway. He'd still be strong. The Namikaze blood runs through his veins. Maybe he would have learned Fly and Rising without the Nine-Tailed chakra. And he has a lot of chakra because Uzumakis are known for that. But probably Uchiha. Probably Uchiha. Alright, let's continue on. If you guys have any questions, of course, continue to ask. And if you want me to switch agendas, super chats will make me change the agenda, by the way. So, like switch topics, I mean, from anime to whatever. But either way, I have a lot of topics I'll be discussing. What if Goku never met Chi-Chi? Well, if Goku never met Chi-Chi, then Gohan and Goten might never exist. His sons, his seed would have never been spread, arguably, right? Unless he meets someone else that he falls in love with. Also, I would also argue he would have less attachment to Earth, meaning he'd be more in sync with his inner Saiyan ferocity, right? That's more of just a theory. Like when Vegeta arrived on Earth, he had no attachment to anyone. Now he does, obviously, with Bulma and Trunks and shit, but if a Saiyan doesn't have any attachment, he's just a ferocious, primal being, right? You see that with someone like Broly, who loses sense of his consciousness when he goes full power. So Seth gave a good theory about tenacity and ferociousness. you could argue. You could argue. I mean, it's a double-edged sword because you do see Goku become more ferocious and tenacious when his family is in danger. We saw it against Jiren, and we saw it against Frieza. But you could also argue without that human side, he might be always more ferocious and tenacious than he usually is, right? He's chivalrous. He's easygoing at first, unless things get serious, of course. It's a double-edged sword, but it would be beneficial in ways and also detrimental, you could argue. So, because I do think his family being in danger gives him a great boost in ferociousness, which a byproduct of that is his power level increases greatly. I mean, we've seen him several times. So if he never met Chi-Chi, things would be a lot different, and he'd probably be a lot different. So, if you could have any nature transformation Kekkei Genkai besides wood release, what would you want? Maybe boil release. That's a pretty powerful ability. Well, Naruto is Naruto though, but when he uses boil release, it's quite damaging. Probably boil release. That'll be my pick. This is from the top of my head right now. Alright, next up. What if Hinata became Tsunade's apprentice? So this is an interesting question. And here's why. The Hyugas are obviously heralded for their taijutsu and byakugan. So their ability to learn medical ninjutsu is ambiguous. I mean, I'm sure none of us really know of any medical ninja that are Hyugas. I don't know how well she would do in that. I know chakra control is a big part of it, and Hyugas seem to have good chakra control. Is your chakra control as good as Sakura's? I don't know about that, but I would argue she probably wouldn't be as good of a medical ninja as Sakura, who was already known for her good chakra control early on in the show. So I think she'd be a poor product compared to Sakura when it comes to medical ninjutsu, at least. So, what if Naruto received Orochimaru's curse mark instead of Sasuke? That's a good question. It would be interesting to me to see how the Nine Tails inside of Naruto would interact with the curse mark. Would it upset it? What would it do to it? Right? What would the Nine Tails do with the curse mark kind of seeping through Naruto's chakra network? How would that interact with him? I would just say Orochimaru probably wouldn't risk doing that in the first place because there could be that risk of the Nine Tails emerging and breaking free, right? If the seal undoes itself because of the curse mark. There's a lot of variables that you'd have to take into consideration before giving someone like Naruto the curse mark. So, I think it would not go as well as if he gave it to Sasuke because Sasuke already had doubt. He already had this hate towards Itachi. Naruto was already changing into who he would become, right? He was, gaining friendship. Had Kakashi, had Team 7, the other shinobi that are becoming Genin. He was more pure-hearted, so he wouldn't be a good candidate for the curse mark. So yeah, it's hard to really predict what would happen. I think it would not go well, and it could possibly result in the Nine Tails breaking free. That's what I think would have happened, to be honest. There's no way to really tell, but yeah. Alright, so what if Naruto abandoned the village after Mizuki told him the truth? Well, he would die or be imprisoned. Either the Akatsuki would find him, extract the Nine Tails, killing him, or the Leaf Village would find him and imprison him. That's what would happen. One of those two things would take place. So, it would not be a good choice for Naruto to run off. He's too valuable. Both the Leaf and the Akatsuki would be going after him. So, one of them would find him, and either way he'd lose because he'd either be imprisoned or dead, right? They imprison him because he's a Nine Tails Jinchuriki. They wouldn't want to risk him leaving again. So, what's going on, Chidori? Thanks for coming in. We're speaking anime, so if you folks have any questions, feel free to ask. Anything anime related, feel free to ask. That's currently the segment we are on. Alright. What if Rin never died and Obito never went missing? Okay. I'm assuming this question means what if Obito never got stuck underneath the boulder that fell on him, right? Because that's when he went missing, quote unquote. He would still have both Sharingan, and him and Team 7 would simply continue to evolve, become more powerful. Obito would probably master both Sharingans. What's going on, Sean? Thanks for coming in. We're going over anime, so if you have any anime questions, feel free. Or, as the text suggests, any super chat questions are prioritized, so I'll switch segments now if there's any. But either way, any donations are appreciated, for sure. I'll just leave this on here so you folks know. I took it off, but I'll put it back. So, Team 7 would just continue to evolve. Alright, Team 7 would continue to evolve. Minato would continue being a sensei. The Ninetales would never attack. Things would end up very nicely. The Akatsuki would never form. At least it wouldn't become what it became, right? It would just be simply Yahiko and Nagato founding it, and it'd be more pure in intention. So, everything would end up perfectly, to be honest. Minato would still be Hokage. It is what it is. If you ain't, it's all good, bro. I can keep it at anime or little life related. I will be going over every topic. I just want to stick to segments so we didn't get discombobulated, you know. But I'll be discussing several things. After anime, you guys can ask whatever. Yeah. I have one. How about Hanzo versus Sasori? Okay. Let's take this thing into consideration. We have Hanzo. Right? He was able to best the Sannin. You could argue they were weaker at that point. They were just, you know, younger, less experienced. You can even argue less powerful. This particular Tsunade, who didn't have as much chakra in her 100 ceilings because she hasn't been alive as long. You can argue that. Hanzo is at least, you could assume, if he's able to take on all three Sannin simultaneously and let them live, he's above Sannin level. We could at least agree with that. He's above Sannin level, which is pretty powerful. Sasori, on the other hand, took down the strongest Kazekage, right? He took down the strongest Kazekage. And it's hard to power scale Sasori because he lost to Sakura, but I would say he wasn't trying his full-out best, especially towards the end. I think he let himself be defeated, especially when he started reminiscing about his childhood and his parents and shit. So, if I had to put a finger on how powerful Sasori is, he's stronger than Deidara, because Deidara admitted that. Deidara bested Gaara, however it is contentious, because Gaara was protecting his village. So at best, I would argue they're relative. Sasori, it's hard to quantify how much more powerful than Deidara he is. I would have liked to see more of what he could have done. I would have liked to see that. So, what's going on, Jutsus Phillips? Thanks for coming in. We're talking about anime. Any questions are greatly appreciated. I would lean towards Hanzo because you'd have the burden of rejoinder to prove why Sasori is above Sannin level. Or actually, you'd have to argue, technically, why he's above someone who's above Sannin level, which is quite a stretch. You know, people like the Red Kage are full power Sannin level, right? People like the Red Kage are that level. And Sasori, I think, doesn't quite meet that. He doesn't meet that metric, in my opinion. I know there's these weird fucking arguments that people make, like Sasori is stronger than Deidara, and Deidara was able to outspeed Gaara, who outspeeded the Red Kage. But I don't think speed is the end-all be-all, especially considering people like Tobirama were faster than Madara, and Madara could have clapped Tobirama at any time. So I think Hanzo would get the job done. That's a tough one to kind of assess, because Sasori's a tough cookie to assess in general. But I would go with Hanzo. So Hanzo can even withstand Sasori's poison. Yeah, I think he has his own variety of poison as well. So yeah, that is a possibility. I think he's probably faster, more powerful, overall superior. It's just his feats triumph Sasori's. So, all right. What if Kakashi became an Uchiha in spirit and kept both Sharingan from Obito? Just lose any 6-pass chakra so he couldn't no-diff Sasuke at the end. That's a good question. What if he became Uchiha? So let's say he kept Obito's eyes besides the 6-pass chakra. That's an interesting question. I tend to believe that Uchiha, you know, Uchiha natives can use their eyes more optimally. So I would say Kakashi wouldn't be as strong as DMS Obito. We never got to see that him at full power, right? I mean, when he did have DMS, he was on his deathbed. I would say he'd be very powerful, though. You could assume at least twice as powerful and at least twice as fast with his Kamui. He'd be one of the most powerful individuals in the verse. I mean, he already is, arguably, as Hokage Kakashi, but his hacks would be pretty broken. He'd be able to use both long range and short range Kamui. As far as his stamina, that's where the issue would be. I wonder how he would be able to carry that much burden on his chakra, right? Because just with one, he had trouble, and there is a limit. Yeah, in the war, it did go up, but we're talking about double the exertion now. He has both eyes. I think he'd be someone that would be very powerful early on, but I think his stamina would be an issue. Thanks for the $5. I'm gonna say your last name, Ivanov. I appreciate it highly. Will you react to? Would you react to Noodles' Uni Naruto video? I want to see your thoughts on it. Sorry for the bad English. Oh no problem. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna be honest. I don't fuck with Noodles, but with a big enough, I'll tell you what, a big enough donation, I'll do it. Now, I appreciate the $5. I'm not Seth. I'm not going to ask for $1,000. I'll say 15 more bucks. I'll do it. I'll post it. I'll do that. If you guys really want to see that. If you really want it, I'll do it. But I appreciate the donation, man. 15 bucks more. Not 5,000 more. I'm not Seth the programmer, but 15 more. I just don't like him, but for the right incentive, I'll do it. If that's what you want, I shall give you what you ask. So I'm saying if he was an Uchiha in spirit, that would be negated. Oh, okay. If he was an Uchiha in spirit, in that case, my argument would change. I would say, think of it like this. I would say he's a superior shinobi, right? When you take away the Kekkei Genkai, I think he's a superior shinobi. I mean, early on we saw that. So I would say he'd probably be stronger than Obito, right? Because his physiology as a shinobi is superior to that of Obito, right? Take away the Hashirama cells. Ask yourself, how strong would Obito really be with both Sharingan? I would argue he wouldn't be as strong without Hashirama cells. So I would say he'd be more powerful than Obito would be. That changes things. If he has native Uchiha spirit or whatever, he would be stronger in my opinion. So add this 5 to the Rat Noodles vid. Oh shit. Yeah, appreciate it, Cody. And you guys passed it. You guys really want to see that shit, huh? Damn. I'll react to it. You guys have my word. Fuck, man. I'll react to it. It is what it is. I said what I said, and you guys did what I asked. So I'll do what you ask. God damn. Yeah. Noodles, man. Hey, I'm a man of my word, so I'll make it happen. Expect that one soon. Expect that soon. Alright, someone asked a question. Appreciate the donations, though, brothers. Appreciate it. There's a few more questions here. I'm coming from the last stream about the certain topic. Oh, yeah, I remember you, Luis. I remember you. Someone asked a question. It was a good one. Where is it? What if Orochimaru takes Naruto and raised him? Well, he would inherit his malicious ideology, and he would be evil. If he takes Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki Naruto and raises him, he would create a monster. He'd create an animal with malicious intent and would have the same ideology that Orochimaru has, right? If that's all he knows, that's what he would grow with. So alright. Alright, let me... Sorry about that, folks. I muted that individual. But yeah, he would inherit that ideology. And would be an evil person. He would be an evil person. I mean, that's the simplest way to put it. I wonder if Orochimaru would experiment on a Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, possibly knowing him. However, he didn't do it to Sasuke. Here's another possibility. He might just manipulate Naruto and take his body because he's a Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. That's also another possibility. He might raise him to become this optimal shinobi, primal malicious killer, and then take over his body, manipulate him. That's a possibility as well. Do you do crossverse? Go ahead and ask, and if I know the topic at hand, I'll try to answer it. I still can't believe I gotta react to fucking noodles, man. God damn. Hey, but I'm out of my word. I got you guys. It will be up Tuesday. How about that? Why suppress Joey? Because he keeps spamming. That shit's annoying as fuck. Okay. Lucifero versus Ishiki. I don't believe I'm familiar with Lucifero. I'd have to know of him. Kenpachi Naruto verse. I'd have to learn more about Bleach before I come to that conclusion. Alright, folks. Keep asking questions. And I shall give my take on Bleach now. So, I am about 30 episodes into Bleach. And I gotta say, the power scaling aspect is very interesting, right? Spirit energy seems to be what is measured when, at least from what I know now, that's what measures a Soul Reaper, right? Their spirit energy. And Ichigo's progression is quite vast. It's quite quick. I mean, early on he was barely fighting low-level hollows, and now he's fighting, full-on Soul Reapers. I'm on the part where he's trying to save, I believe her name is Ryuki, from the Soul Reaper Society after she was captured and given the sentence of death because of her giving her power to Ichigo, and Ichigo has just mastered how to use his own power to become a Soul Reaper. It's very interesting. As far as where I would power scale Ichigo, is quite tough. I've seen him destroy, I believe, something quite maybe near the size of a large hill, large mountain. The captains seem to be just way more powerful at this point in time. The captains of the divisions, right? They wowed me, especially when Ichigo did well against the lieutenant, right? The lieutenant that was there to capture Ryuki or whatever her name was exactly. And then the captain fucking one-shots him or speed blitzes him before he can't even perceive him coming towards him. That's how much faster he was than Ichigo. And that was an Ichigo that was rivaling a lieutenant. So those fucking captains are fucking broken. They're fucking broken. Broken. Old Man Hiruzen versus Tobirama. Interesting question. Old Man Hiruzen, so the one that lost to Orochimaru, right? The one that lost to Orochimaru. Still stated to be the strongest Kage on Earth. Versus Orochimaru. Versus Tobirama. Tobirama was intimidating to EMS Sasuke, Tobirama, Suigetsu, Juga, whoever else was there. Old Man Hiruzen, I don't think would take down Tobirama. It's tough to quantify Tobirama's power. I think his speed would be the difference. Especially, and also the aspect that Orochimaru was intimidated by Tobirama, and it was implied that Tobirama could break out of his Edo Tensei or his reanimation jutsu, which to me kind of implies he's superior. Obviously, Hashirama is superior to Orochimaru, but the fact that Tobirama was threatening to break out kind of implies superiority as well, in my opinion. So I would say Tobirama probably wins. If it's Prime Hiruzen, that changes things. In my opinion, that changes things. But Old Man Hiruzen, the one that lost to Orochimaru, who seems to be inferior to Tobirama, I would say Tobirama. So, would you host a cross-verse debate tourney in your server, maybe an equal stats tournament? That would be interesting to see how, you know, the knowledgeable anime enthusiasts kind of debate and argue for their respective anime that they choose, possibly. Let's see. Ada and Damon versus Yhwach. I don't know enough about Bleach yet, but all I know is Yhwach is a fucking monster. He's a fucking monster. So that's all I know. I know he's like the top of the food chain in Bleach. I'd have to see what he's capable of first. But Ada and Damon are fucking broken too, so I'm not familiar enough yet, but I'm getting there. Ada and Damon are cracked as well. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Alright, folks. Make sure to leave a like, by the way. It gets us higher in the algorithm, and it keeps the channel growing. Alright, I guess if you guys have any questions that are not anime related, go ahead. Or if you have anime related, go ahead. I have some that are not anime related, but if you have any questions in general, now I'll be answering them. Once again, I appreciate the donations, folks. And with the right incentive, I'll do things such as reacting to Noodle's shit. So, yeah. I'll be doing that. Let me see the questions that were asked. Feel free to keep asking. Yeah, Bleach has a lot of hacks. Bleach has a lot of hacks. I'm already realizing that early on in the Bleach. A lot of hacks, like healing abilities or Urahime, being able to heal, being able to remove like hollow attacks after someone almost seems dead. Ichigo, with his soul energy, seems to be quickly gaining power. I'll play you to twerk on camera. 500? I wouldn't do that. That's a little too much. I have dignity. For 500, I'll roast somebody that you want. How about that? I'll roast someone. I'll watch their shit live. If you pay me 500, I'll watch that shit live and roast them. On air. I don't give a fuck. For 500. How about that? Top 5 anime. Good question. As of right now, let's see. What would be number 1? I mean, you know, the choice would probably be Naruto. But Attack on Titan really caught my attention. I'll say, narrative-wise, Attack on Titan. Dragon Ball or Naruto. You can switch them 2 or 3 or 3 or 2, however you want to do it. So Attack on Titan, Naruto, Dragon Ball. What other anime am I pretty well versed in? Oh shit, I forgot about Death Note. I might put Death Note at 2. So I might go Attack on Titan, Death Note, Naruto, Dragon Ball. Can I hop on stream and sing Let It Go? For 500? For 500, you want to hop on stream. Tell you what. For 500, I'll give you 5 minutes. No, that's too long. That's too long. I'll give you 3 minutes to sing the song. If you're serious, if you really drop to 500. Bleach is worth peeping, bro. Yeah, I actually got more into it. More into it. So, I'm definitely going to finish it. And I know, I'm pretty sure the anime didn't finish the entire continuity. I think it like finished at a certain arc. I'll have to read the rest. But I'm more of an anime viewer rather than a manga reader personally. I usually go back after the fact to kind of become more knowledgeable on facts and things of that nature. And by the way, they said the guy that says it, he has 500 things that you could get for 500. You could sing on stream for 3 minutes if that's really what you want. I'll make a video of your choice as long as it's not illegal or some bullshit, or I'll roast somebody or give another suggestion. I'm not doing any sus shit and stuff like that. I have dignity. I'm not doing that. 500, those are, you have quite a few options though. Alright, so keep asking questions, folks. Let me see if there's any more. Been waiting 9-ish years to see the rest of the Bleach anime story. I already watched it twice. Yeah, I heard that the final arc may be animated, and apparently it's coming in October of 2022. So this year, I believe, is the final arc, if I'm not mistaken. I hope it's lit, you know, especially with modern day animation, with the possibilities, you know. The anime for Bleach is going to change some stuff from the manga when the war arc comes out because the creator was rushed to finish it. I see. That's unfortunate. I'd rather see it at its best. And you know what? The guy that donated 20, if you really want a video, if you drop another 20, I'll roast the guy. I'll roast Noodles on the video. I'll make it a point of emphasis. That's just it's an offering. If you want me to roast him, another 20, and I'll roast the shit out of him in the video. I'll roast the shit out of him. So that's the offer I'm willing to give. I'm still going to react to it for another 20 or more. I'll roast him. The more you donate, 20 plus, the harder I'll roast him. That's just an offer. If you want me to make that a point of emphasis. Unless you like Noodles, then I won't, of course. I believe the creator stated that. It's a shame when animes are rushed. We want to see the best product possible, right? I know people want to meet deadlines, but I don't see the point. Like, don't you want eyeballs on your show? Don't you want notoriety and good replay value? I don't see the point of rushing. You know, it's probably a business thing, but it's very interesting. Edo Hashirama and Tobirama versus Base Jiraiya and Tsunade. Part 1, Orochimaru Summon. They were pretty nerfed. It's hard to quantify exactly how nerfed. I would at least say half power, because they didn't even really. I mean, they did push Hiruzen a little bit, but that was old man Hiruzen. And Edo Hashirama and specifically must have been extremely nerfed, extremely. So I would say probably 30-40% of their original power against Base Jiraiya and Tsunade, who are relative to Orochimaru and Hiruzen. I'll probably go with Base Jiraiya and Tsunade, because those Edos were really nerfed heavily, and then together, probably take them out due to the substantial nerf that they had. It was quite substantial. So, all right. So I have some questions that are not anime related. Keep asking them if you please. By the way, ask anything. I'll be answering some now that are not exactly anime related. Let's see. Of course, super chats take priority. So if you want to ask a question and me to answer it now, not change segments, ask. Super chat will do that. What if social media never existed? If social media never existed, our very culture would be heavily different. Social media has created many offspring in several ways. The changing in dating culture, the changing in communication, etc. And things were changed drastically. There was no social media. It'd be the way it was pre-internet, essentially. Because once the internet came, social media followed quite quickly. Right? Chat rooms, even the most rudimentary ones, were around pretty quickly. So it'd basically be the way it was before the internet, right? People had to meet in person. Things were more hands-on. That's basically what it would be. It would just be the same thing. So, War Arc base Orochimaru versus Sage Jiraiya. War Arc base Orochimaru versus Sage Jiraiya. Well, if you want to remove Edo Tensei, because if he's able to use that, Jiraiya gets fucking folded. But let's say it's just them one-on-one. For me, there isn't nothing to imply that he's gotten any stronger. Maybe there's some arguments that exist, but to me there isn't any that are that concrete. So Orochimaru, I would say, would win against Sage Jiraiya. I think him at his strongest is just superior to Sage Jiraiya. Him at his strongest, I think it's the eight Hydra snake form. I think that's him at his strongest, where he felt confident enough to attack Itachi Susanoo. That was before he realized he had the Yadomir and the Totsuka blade. So he felt confident enough to attack someone that one-shotted him with Tsukuyomi. from that you can imply he's quite powerful in that form. And I would argue he probably beats Sage Jiraiya. Probably. I think his AP would be too much based off his actions. We haven't seen many actions, but we saw his confidence levels against Itachi. So, not a solid, it's not a 100% foolproof argument, but it's a good argument. Right. I just think Orochimaru is superior to Jiraiya in general, based off feats. Right, so. Alright, so. How would businesses and dating in general... Wait, okay, that's the same question that I answered. It's related. Let's see. Alright, so these are more bizarre questions, but I shall answer them. How do you feel when Sasuke threw some back shots into Sakura? Well, if you're speaking about when he impregnated her, that's cool. I mean, they made a genetically superior child in Sarada, so good for him. You know, good for him with the back shots. Very well done. Yeah, I think have a statement from Sugetsu that implies he's above MS Sasuke, who I think beats Jiraiya. Yeah, he is. And he did imply that. Yeah, he did imply that. In fact, I think it was EMS Sasuke where Sugetsu implies that, because it was after Itachi, you know, returned to the land of the dead and Kabuto was defeated. They were saying, I believe that's when Sugetsu said, hey, the only reason you beat him was because he was sick. You're not strong enough to take him on. So yeah, that just further reinforces the notion that Orochimaru is superior. There's several statements and feats that reinforce that claim. You know, I think the burden rejoinder would be on someone arguing for Jiraiya's side more so. So, by the way, folks, feel free to ask non-anime questions if you please. Now, you know, I've been on it for a while, so I'm still going to answer more anime questions. But feel free to ask any questions now. Yo, what's going on 23 days later? We are just speaking on some anime topics as usual. Let's see. Some of these questions are quite bizarre. But I'll do it for you guys. I'll give you some entertainment. My GF says she wants me inside her. Do I do it? Well, shit, she's your girlfriend. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, go for it, man. Cool. Okay, I've done that one already. Here's some more bizarre questions for you folks. Should I nut in my girl so she stays with me? No. That is very dangerous. And you're going to be paying child support. Paying child support, you don't know how she'll react. You know, she might be very upset and you might lose her, etc. It's a very, very, very risky thing to do. So, thoughts on Tsunade being Hokage? Okay, so this is an anime question. To me, Tsunade was an okay Hokage. She was alright, but I would argue she was one of the most useless because consider the times when she had to protect the village. Pain, she couldn't even do it. Yeah, I know she expended a lot of chakra healing the village, but if you wanted to protect your village, you got to be more careful with that. And she was about to be one-shotted by Pain until Naruto saved her. Right, and then against Madara with the other Kage, she got folded. So she really didn't do much as a Hokage, in my opinion, compared to the others. So, Zabuza versus Danzo. Zabuza. I mean, Zabuza was relative to Part 1 Kakashi. Kakashi is inferior to Danzo, so yeah, no. Let's say he can use his Demon Mist style as well. I just think he's inferior to someone of Danzo's level. If he has his amps, the Hashirama cells and the Sharingans, he's inferior. I think he's inferior to Danzo, in my opinion. Alright, so here's some more questions. Trying to look for some interesting ones. What do I do when my girl is on her period but she wants to fuck? Damn. That's nasty if you go for it, man. It's kind of grimy in my opinion. If she wants to fuck, I mean, tell her to wash it out. I don't know, man. It's nasty. I always cut Tsunade slack during the pain arc. Her main goal was to help and save everyone during the invasion as much as possible, not have a full out brawl with him knowing Naruto was coming. Yeah. But she could have acted more swiftly, right, to avoid lives being lost. But again, she's vastly inferior to Pain, so it wouldn't matter anyways. But yeah, that's a good point as well. If you could re-listen to any album for the first time, what would it be? If I could listen to any album for the first time, probably, there's a lot of good albums out there, man. Since Drake is my favorite artist, I would probably say possibly Take Care or Nothing Was the Same. Those were iconic albums to me personally and full of hits. So one of those to listen for the first time and take it in would be quite amazing for sure. By the way, folks, keep asking any questions you please. This podcast keeps rolling with those questions. So, all right. How come people have gone so antisocial? Was it due to social media, phone, isolation? Probably all of the above. Social media, what it does is it allows us to speak to everyone worldwide behind a screen, and essentially negates the necessity to go out and mingle with other individuals, So the internet, social media, all that has incentivized us, or a lot of people, to stay isolated, to stay isolated and to live this life that isn't real. The real world is much different than social media. Social media, there's an environment that doesn't reflect the real world. I could say social media doesn't reflect the real world. Look at the trolls, for example. People calling each other like fuckwads or pussies or shit like that. Would you really think they would say that to each other's faces? Most people? Hell no, they would not. Absolutely not. A guy that calls you a pussy on Discord, would he really say that to your face? I highly doubt it. So it doesn't reflect reality, and it kind of pollutes individuals in a way when that's their life. They don't go out, they don't mingle, things of that nature. It fucks shit up. It's fucked up society to a point where I think can't return. To a point of no return, specifically the new generation. So social media it's caused a lot of damage. If you have seen Power Rangers, what was your favorite season, and or which team do you think is the strongest? I've seen Power Rangers when I was a child. My favorite, I believe, the coolest looking, was probably, I think it was Power Rangers, was it RPM? Or Mystic Force or some shit. One of them was really cool looking. They had like the cool the masks with the cool designs. As far as the most powerful, I'm not really sure about the power scaling of Power Rangers. I'm assuming probably some legendary Power Ranger, like a Golden Ranger or some shit like that. So probably something of that nature is the strongest Power Ranger. And I know Red are usually the strongest, right? They're like the leaders, so to speak, at least from what I know. SPD, that shit was fire too. Yeah. What if Data fought Chio and Sakura instead? Who would win in your opinion? That's a good question. Well, if it's the same environment, it'd be tough, right? Because he can't really fly around in the cave that they fought in. He'd have to change the environment or blow up the fucking cave and fight outside, because that's where he's most dangerous. He can fly with his fucking clay dragons and stuff like that. As far as how he would do, how would Sakura and Chio do against the clay bombs, right? He would be very problematic, actually. Especially the molecular bombs that people can't see unless you have like a Sharingan or a Dojutsu that's capable. It'd be very problematic, actually. His abilities would be very problematic. In fact, he might even win. He doesn't have that doubt and resolve like Sasori did towards the end. Sasori's resolve started to crumble. As the fight went on, I'd argue his resolve started to crumble. So that's a big reason why he lost. He started to see something new, something inside of him awakened that caused him to slowly take his foot off the gas pedal. I don't think Deidara would go through that, and his abilities would be very troublesome. He would probably win, most likely. I don't think they would kill him. If anything, he would evade. see. Sakura and Chio would still take that. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. You know, maybe you could argue Chio controlling Sakura. Sakura would have the adequate speed to blitz Deidara, right? But then you would have to argue, is Sakura being controlled by Chio faster than Sasuke was? Heavy Sasuke was against Deidara? I don't know about that. You know, that's contentious. I doubt it. I doubt it. So, I think Deidara would probably get the job done. Probably. From last stream, X blocked me on IG, but not the phone. On Tuesday, I texted her sorry for the bad time and she did and told me she didn't regret anything. I called her from the. All right, so I'm gonna be straight up when it comes to that. You're wasting your time. An X is an X. Women are cutthroat. When they're no longer involved into you 100%, it's a done deal. There is no return, and it's not optimal to return. It's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. Speaking to your ex in any way, it's a waste of time. Especially if they ended it. It's done. You gotta move on. Cut it off. You gotta be Sasuke Uchiha, man. You just gotta say, fuck this bitch and move on. It is what it is. You know? Women are cutthroat, man. They don't care about you. Once they're done, they don't care. Sounds fucked up, but that's women's biology. They don't give a fuck about you. You know? Have a roster. Because this is what happens when you don't have a roster. You become attached and you get something called what I call one-itis. When you have one-itis, you only have one option. Yeah, you might love her. Cool. But there's nothing wrong with having side pieces or a roster and loving your main chick, right? That's if you can do it. If you have the value, right? Which sounds very superficial, but that's the reality of the dating culture. If you have the value, meaning the looks, the charisma, the confidence, the finances, you can get away with that. Even if you don't, it is detrimental to have only one option, because that's what happens. You go back to your ex. So you go back to your ex. It's a vicious cycle, man. It's a vicious cycle, and you're wasting your time. Honestly, you're wasting your time. Fuck her. Move on. Block her. Shit. If it's that hard, have someone monitor your phone and fucking turn it off, because you have to let it grow, man. It's a waste of time. Trust me, it really is. Women are cutthroat. They don't care. Not one bit. Because while you're crying, right? Let's say someone's crying in the corner over their girl. That girl's fucking entertaining other men. Probably getting her back blown out. It is what it is, man. That's reality. They don't care. And it's not because they're bad, not because they're malicious creatures. That's their biology. They want provision, they want security, etc. And once you aren't providing that, and once they don't have the feeling for you anymore, right? They don't have that attachment for you. They're done. You don't exist to them anymore. And maybe they might meddle with the idea of coming back, but at that point it's a lost cause. It's not optimal to stay no more. You know, it doesn't matter. So, honestly, the best way to get someone that's going to stick around that you care about is you got to improve yourself. You know, I think the problem is there's a lack of individual accountability amongst, well, more so women, let's be honest, but men too. You know, men just wallow. A lot of men wallow in their pity and say, fuck, man, I lost her. Fuck her. Get in shape, get money, get success. You'll find someone better. You know what's funny? If you become very successful, they'll want you back, man. They'll want you back. And at that point, you have two options. Play her or block her, you know. Men and women do not think the same. You know, women they love conditionally, man. That's the reality of the world. They love conditionally. It's not because they're malicious creatures. That's the way they operate. They need provision. They need security. They need that sense of, you know, security where you're the dominant male, where you're the one for them. Because once they lose that, it's over. It is what it is, you know. And I see the counter for my type of ideology. The counter is, well, you become cold, you become this, that. That's the best way to operate, man. Because if you're not cold, you're just going to get hurt. It is what it is. And you just got to play the game how it's supposed to be played. So, it is what it is, man. It's not optimal, but complaining about it won't change it, you know. You either adapt or you fall. So which one is it? You want to fall and wallow, or do you want to adapt and overcome. You know, women are the ones that are approached. Women are the one that they're the ones that give you access to what you want. But for you guys, here's the thing. Here's the thing for you guys. Guys are the ones that choose if the girl's gonna stick around. They're the ones that choose what role the girl's gonna play. The main chick, the side chick, the booty call. We're the ones that decide that, right? But to get to that point, you gotta improve yourself as a man. You gotta improve yourself. Don't limit yourself to one option. It's the abundance mindset. And whether women have a problem with that or not, that's the best way to operate. Because women have the abundance mindset, whether they want to admit it or not. They have it. They want the best man to provide the best security. They want the most dominant, the most successful, etc. Why should we be shamed for playing the game? Play the game how it's supposed to be played. So, if you have an ex, move on, man. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time because she's getting her back blown out. That's reality. It hurts. It hurts to visualize that. It really does. So, improve yourself. Improve yourself. By the way, and don't make women a priority. Women shouldn't be their priority. It's cool to have pussy around. It's cool. But that shouldn't be the priority in your life. That should not be the priority. So women are a byproduct of your success. That's what the priority is. The success, not the women. A lot of guys out here, young guys, prioritize women. They want women now. They want tons of them. They want to fuck tons. You're wasting your fucking time, man. You're broke. You're out of shape. You live in your mom's basement and you're worried about a bitch. That's a waste of fucking time. And she's going to leave you because you're not an optimal choice for her. She's going to get the attention she wants from you and then move on to the next, a more successful, dominant guy. That's the way it is. So, you have to improve. There is no way around it. Survival of the fittest. As harsh as it sounds. Alright, so there are some questions I missed up here. Chiyo and Sakura only won because they counter Sasori. Heavily implies Deidara as a rival to Sasori. Yeah. It's too condensed and Sakura can just wail on him. Yeah, if it's in the cave, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Itachi and Kisame versus Pain. Itachi and Kisame? Pain's abilities are troublesome. Shin no Tensei, Chibaku Tensei. Pain, right? The six paths of pain versus Itachi and Kisame. There are some presuppositions that really matter that cannot be answered. It's based on your interpretation. 1. Can Itachi and Kisame successfully destroy the core of a Chibaku Tensei? Could they do it? Do they have the optimal AP to destroy it? The sufficient AP to destroy it? If they do, then they could win. 2. How will Itachi's Genjutsu react with someone that has a Rinnegan? Right? There's arguments that Rinnegan is a superior dojutsu, hence it would not be affected. And there's some arguments that suggest that it would be affected. So it depends on your presupposition. If your presupposition is, things will go in favor for them, they probably win. They could deal with his most troublesome abilities, and they can catch him in Genjutsu. But if your presuppositions go against them, they'll probably lose. Chibaku Tensei would crush them, right? So that's really what it is. Should I go to the Marines or do plumbing? I'm 24 myself. Here's the thing that matters when choosing your trajectory as a man. What fulfills you, right? And this varies from man to man. What fulfills you? What legacy do you want to leave, right? Because money will come with success regardless of what you do. So it really depends on what you want to be remembered for. What do you want to do for the next 20 to 30 years? Do you want to be an entrepreneur, a fucking lawyer, doctor, military? It really depends on your desire. When you're young, it's hard to kind of pinpoint what that is. Right, as time goes on, you gain wisdom, and you start to realize, all right, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. So it really depends. Really depends. So you got to ask yourself, what do I want to do? What fulfills me? What fulfills me? So that's what you got to really decide your priorities, and it'll come to you. you know. Damon or Jigen? Or Damon is stated to be stronger than Jigen, so Damon. Itachi and Kisame would probably win, to be honest. That team is really strong, but give Pain Konan and it will be more fair. Yeah, that's a tough one to answer because, again, we don't know how Kisame and Itachi would do against Chibaku Tensei, and we don't know how Itachi's Genjutsu would react with Pain, right? So those presuppositions are greatly important. In a debate, whoever can argue for their set presupposition would probably get the victory and prove, or at least highly imply, who would win. If you can control the fate of the story of Boruto, how would you handle this story? That's a good question. First off, I'd want to see Naruto and Sasuke's ventures after the war arc. I'd want to see how they become men. I'd want to see their rise through Konoha. I would really love to see that. Kakashi's stories as Hokage, I would have loved to see that. If I can control the fate, if I can control the fate, right, I would say, no, this is my take, because I think change is a good thing and it's inevitable. So I would say that the passing of the torch would take place still, but it'd be different, right? It'd be different. I think Naruto and Sasuke would have to die. I think they'd have to die in a very honorable fashion, similar to Kurama when he died after Baryon mode was used. So I would say they die, maybe by the hand of a very powerful individual, maybe an Ishiki type character. But at that point, when they do die, it'd have to be at a point where Boruto's ready. I wouldn't want him to die prematurely, right? When he's ready to take on the mantle. And for Kawaki, I think they're doing a good job with him. I don't know if I change much. I like that he represents the idea of offing the old ways, right? The shinobi way of old. That's what I appreciate, that they're trying to do that, right? And Boruto is the one defending the shinobi way, like he should. So I would make it more emotionally appealing. That's what I would do with the story. So, let's see. Can Kakuzu solo all fiction? Well, when you revere his raw durability, it's possible. It's possible he can solo all fiction. His raw durability triumphs all. So, you have to choose. Okay, yeah. Kakuzu versus Aoba. This is a tough part, but I have to go with Aoba because Aoba is omnipresent. Think about it. He has lived through many world level threats, right? He's lived through the war arc. He's lived through others. He transcends the average shinobi, and I think because of his superior raw durability, I think he beats Kakuzu. I think Aoba is damn near ramen guy level, or maybe equivalent, relative. So, let's see. Naruto would give people a lot more reason to relate to Boruto. They would have approached it a different way, yeah. Do you think Itachi will come back to Boruto in the future somehow? No, I think that's highly unlikely. Especially considering Naruto and Sasuke are going to the wayside now. They're becoming more irrelevant, sadly. And they're going to continue to become more relevant because that's the whole point. Right? So I doubt Itachi would ever return, ever. Sasuke's definitely dying, it's obvious. Boruto takes his sword and headband in the time skip. Yeah, they're both going to die. Highly, highly likely. Third Kazekage versus Gaara before the war arc. Well, the best way to gauge Gaara was his before war arc was his performance against Deidara, and you can imply the relative. And Deidara stated Sasori's superior, and Sasori defeated the Kazekage. So it's quite tough. So I would say at that point, it's really hard to quantify how strong the Kazekage is, but I would say that Gaara, because there's two arguments to be made. One is he got stronger, right? In the war, he got stronger, and he seemed pretty relative to his father. He did triumph over him. But then you could also argue, well, he might be weaker because he lost the one-tailed Jinchuriki. Oh, excuse me, the one-tailed beast. He lost him. So I tend to believe he might be weaker. Because thinking about it like this, Naruto is nerfed because he lost Kurama. So it's safe to assume Gaara was nerfed after losing the One Tail. So I would say Gaara going all out, not having to protect his village, bloodlusted, with experience, will probably beat the Kazekage. Probably. If he has the One Tail in him, you know. If he doesn't, probably loses. They hyped up the third like crazy. Yeah, they did. But then it's heavily indicated that he's inferior to Sasori. So I can't wait for the time skip. Do you watch Rent a Girlfriend? I don't think so. I don't think I'm familiar. Do you watch Baki? I've heard much of it. I've heard much of Baki. I need to check that one out. That's another one on my bucket list. Ooh, Spider-Man comics or Batman comics? Now this is a field that I'm quite knowledgeable in. I'm going to say Batman. Something about Batman makes him especially intriguing to even the casual reader or viewer. Batman is very complex. Not to say that Peter Parker is not, because he is. But Batman has so many iconic stories. So many stories that have been told about him that really expand on the kind of individual that he is. You know, Under the Red Hood, The Killing Joke, Injustice, etc. I just think Batman's more polarizing as a character. So his comics are probably better. He's one of the most polarizing characters ever. You know, ironically, even though he has no powers. So, ironically, he's one of the most polarizing characters ever. Let's see. Watch Kengan Asura. Not familiar with it, but I'll see what that's about. Do you watch Darius M. Alpha Male Strategies and Hot Twins on YouTube? I watch a lot of Red Pill revolving YouTube channels. I watched the Hodge Twins. I've watched them before. I've watched the Roommates. I've watched Fresh and Fit. Fuck it, I'll admit it. Fuck it. I've watched a lot of them. They've taught me a lot. They've taught me a lot about how to be a better man, how to attract women, etc. And the only people that don't really like them are the people that don't like the truth. It is what it is. It is what it is. They tell the truth, as harsh as it sounds, you know. If you had to choose, would you live in Spider-Man's world or Batman's Gotham City? Spider-Man is gay. Batman is bi. Superman's son is gay. Fuck, man. Alright, let me read this one first. I'll get to that one. Would you live in Spider-Man's world or Batman's Gotham City? If I'm a human, Gotham City seems so dark and so sad. If I'm a human, Spider-Man's world. If I'm a superhero, Batman's world. Izzy or Oliveira? Are you asking who would win in a fight? Izzy is larger, better striker, and a longer reach. So for Oliveira to even grab him, it would be a huge task. He'd probably get knocked out coming in my opinion. If they were the same size, so let's say they're the same size, it'd be interesting. The reach advantage would be negated. Oliveira is clearly the superior grappler and superior wrestler, probably for that matter. However, Izzy's takedown defense is highly underrated. I would say it's pretty elite. I mean, he was able to negate Brunson's and Vittori's takedown attempts, and they're probably some of the best wrestlers in the middleweight division. I'd probably still go with Izzy. His striking is too dynamic, in my opinion. So, beginning Shippuden Gaara and Rock Lee versus peak Kimimaro. I think Kimimaro probably. Beginning Shippuden Gaara, I would argue, was probably weaker than the one that fought Kimimaro. Rock Lee, if you have the 5 gates, right, was inferior to that Gaara. So Kimimaro was on his deathbed. He was dying. He was slowly decaying as far as his power scaling and his power level, I guess you could say. So I would say Kimimaro. Alright, so now I'll get back to the one I read. New Spider-Man is gay. Batman is bi. Superman's son is gay. What's your thought on these? So many media is bringing these aspects forward. Alright, so this is dangerous waters. I'm going to tread lightly. Before I even begin, I'm not homophobic, anything phobic. You can be whatever you want. Anything you want. I don't care. No judgment. But to be honest, I believe these aspects being brought forward is an attempt to appeal to a smaller group of individuals within society. All right. And I understand you want to be inclusive, but shit, I don't want that to be a point of emphasis, you know? And don't change characters that have been around for 50 plus years. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. So now Clark Kent is gay? He's gay now because you want to be inclusive. Make a new Superman. Make him gay. I don't know. It's just, or make an entire new superhero. Cool. That's fine, but don't try to change these iconic characters in that manner. It's very upsetting. Like, what if it was the roles were reversed? What if we were changing gay people to straight people? What if, let me think of an example. Just think of some iconic character that's gay in some TV show. What if we made him straight? It'd be outrage. You know, it'd be fucking outrage. So it should go both ways. You know, it's a double standard. I don't like it, you know, and I'm sure many people don't. That's why ratings are down. If I'm not mistaken, I think in fucking the new Buzz Lightyear, wasn't there some gay shit? Like, what the? Again, I'm not homophobic, but it's a Pixar movie. Shit. You gotta see. It's slippery slope. But I know most of you guys are real on here, so most of you are real. You guys don't get overly sensitive. Appreciate it, Luis. Thanks for the 99 cents, brother. Appreciate the donations. Appreciate all you guys for the donations. They all go back to the channel, just so you guys know. But I understand inclusivity, but there's a certain limit. Don't change and recalibrate iconic shows, characters, etc. for the inclusivity. Simply create new ones. And if they pop and are popular, cool. There's a really powerful gay character, awesome. But don't change already pre-established notions of characters. That's fucking crazy. You know? Insane. Why do they need to bring sexuality into comics? Just want better stories. Exactly. Sexuality is a very minimal factor in fucking comics. Why is their sexual orientation so heavily emphasized? It's insane. Alright, third Hokage versus Itachi. Third Hokage. Now, I tend to follow the notion that the third Hokage is inferior to the fourth, at least in speed, I'd say. At least in speed. That's contentious, right? That's very contentious. But this is the way I look at it. The Hokage stalemated the Eight Tails, right? He was the only one to, I believe, cause him to hurt himself or damage him, right, with the scar on his chest. Killer Bee is the Eight Tails Jinchuriki. Jinchurikis are stated to be stronger than the tailed beasts individually. The Hokage is relative, and if not superior to Killer Bee, hence he's superior to the third Hokage. So I would say, as far as Itachi versus the Hokage, right? Let's put Itachi versus the fourth. Itachi in Edo was relative in speed to someone that outsped the Hokage. Right? It's a slippery slope. I would just say Itachi probably beats the third Hokage with Genjutsu, most likely. In a straight up fight, it'd be tough, but yeah. Appreciate your time and your advice. Appreciate you, brother. Tupac versus Drake. Whew. It depends on your criteria. Pure rap, Tupac. Legacy, shit, it's debatable at this point. Drake has a legacy. You know, it might not be as revered, but it's there. Appreciate it, Sean. Appreciate the $1. Tupac's legacy it's tough, right? Because Drake's my favorite artist, but I'm gonna try to be objective. As far as rap ability, Tupac is probably better, rightfully so. I mean, he's been through more. He has more stories to tell, or he did. R.I.P. Right? Drake might be a better artist. He's so well. His variety is pretty vast. His legacy in the modern world is quite vast, but it's tough. It's tough to compare due to their different times of dominance. Right? Tupac was in the 90s. The internet was barely a thought. So he never had that ability to leave his mark in the advancing world of the internet age, right? Drake has. Drake's in the middle of it, destroying stream numbers, the most streamed artist of all time. Literally, he is, statistically. It's tough. Rapper, I might say, I'm going to go with Tupac. Artist, Drake. It's a tough conversation. The problem is that gay characters make their entire identity based around their sexuality instead of making an interesting... That's exactly right. Yes, they do. Their whole identity is their sexual orientation, not everything else intrinsically. It's just their sexual orientation. You know, that's all that they emphasize. Like, we get it, cool, but we want to see a story. We want to see superheroes fighting supervillains. I don't want to see this so heavily emphasized. You know, I just don't understand. You know, I don't understand why that's the case. Appreciate you, Orochimaru. $5. Appreciate you, brother. All donations. By the way, if you guys ask questions and you donate, I'll answer you guys first, by the way. So you guys that donated, you guys get priority. If you guys have donated, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, brothers. That's exactly right, though. You know, and the reason they do that and make these characters' identities revolve around their orientation is inclusivity. You know, it's their inclusivity. They're overdoing it. They're overdoing it. And in this woke, sensitive culture, right? It's starting to make the normal. Well, I shouldn't say that's the wrong word. Starting to make the average person resent that, because it's starting to shift, right? It's going to begin shifting. I mean, there's other aspects I don't want to get into that's taking place, not just sexual orientation, but to the point where it's reversing the, I guess, discrimination, because the inclusivity, they're overdoing it, right? They're overdoing it. Like the months that are dedicated to the Pride Month, yet what's the difference between a homosexual and a heterosexual? Right? Why does one get a month and one doesn't? I get it. The history of backlash because of your orientation, I understand. But at what point are we going to be past that, you know? I don't know. It's very slippery. I could get more into it but you know, cancel culture. What if Drake never succeeded as a rapper? He'd probably be acting. I mean, he was a good actor as he was a good actor in Degrassi, so he'd probably be an actor. Could Tupac and Biggie blow up if they start in 2022? Here's the thing, you know, there was real beef back then, life-threatening beef back in the day. I don't know if they'd be able to blow up in today's era. They'd have to become more conventional in their style and their approach. You don't really see hardcore rappers that are in legitimate gangs making it these days, you know. You have some that say they are, like Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'm not gonna lie, he's a pussy. He's not no real gang member. Or Blueface, come on, you're a Crip? No, you're not. So to be a real gang member and blow up, it's gonna be difficult in today's sensitive woke culture. They're gonna get canceled because they're talking about shooting and shit. So I would still listen. I'm not gonna lie. It's just music. It's artistic expression. You know what I'm saying? So no one touches Pac's legacy. Biggie might. Thanks for your content, man. I love all your vids. Hey, appreciate it, brother. I got more things coming. Trying to make more original content for sure. Appreciate it. Jimmy from Degrassi. Yep. Could you imagine Pac and Biggie reaction to Instagram? Dude, they would shit all over that. Especially TikTok. Dude, that shit is... Dude. TikTok is something else. Now, I fuck with the anime TikToks, and it kind of brings more appeal to the TikTok, to the anime community, because, you know, these short edits that I've seen, some of them are dope, but there's a side of TikTok that is just, I'm not gonna lie, it's thoughtery. Thoughts. Fucking thought culture is what I call it. Women that are just being thoughts, you know, and that culture is just more and more popular, and it's becoming more and more appealing, you know. I think it's detrimental to not just male but female as well. You want a top tier guy, he's not gonna take you serious if you're shaking your ass on TikTok. That's facts. And they're gonna get, I know some women are gonna be like, oh fuck you, you're fucking misogynist. Nah, bro, that's facts. If you're shaking your ass on fucking TikTok, they're not gonna want you. They'll smash you, they ain't gonna want you though. That's reality. They're not gonna fuck with you if you're shaking your ass, if you're showing your tits, if you're being promiscuous. That's a huge red flag for any top tier guy. And that's the only guy girls want today. Top tier. That's all they want. They don't want the low tier guy that will settle. The guy making, you know, only $30K a year. Hell no, they're not. They want the guy that makes 6 figures. The guy that's 6 foot plus, in shape, confident, successful, has clout. Why would he choose you though? if you're shaking your fucking ass. The fuck? It's fucking insane. It's detrimental. I don't understand it. Thanks for taking the time to engage in this intellectual discourse. Of course. That's why I'm on here. I fuck with all of y'all, man. You guys are all real. For sure. I'm quite different from Seth in them. You know, Seth is more satirical, I guess you could say. And so is Six, but I like talking about real shit. I like being funny too. I like talking about real shit though. It's the difference. If you could put any current rapper in any era of rap, who would you pick and why? That's a good question. Who would I put in who and what era and why? Probably someone from the past into now. You know what I would really like to see? How Eminem would do when he was at his most raw. He was probably the most offensive motherfucker in rap history. And I fucked with it. Not offensive to me, but I'm just saying in general. How would he do today? I feel like he would say fuck cancel culture, all that shit. That was when he was raw. I'd probably say Eminem in the early 2000s. That was raw. Really raw. Hello, what's going on? Positive Attitude. Appreciate you for coming in. Best ways to react to girls dubbing you. Any conventional skills. Okay, so if a girl dubs you, rejects you, here's the thing. Girls are not good at rejecting straight up unless you're very upfront. If you're like, you want to fuck? Then they're going to say fuck you, right? But if girls don't do it upfront like that usually. The best way to know if a girl's dubbing you is if they're flaking, if you're planning a date and they're busy. That's cap. That's cap. They're not busy. They're not with their fucking grandma. They're not asleep. Girls on TikTok till like 5 in the morning. Probably texting some other dude planning to get dinner or her back blown out. So they're capping. The best way to deal with that, honestly, is to be straight up, be concise, be cutthroat, right? So if a girl's flaking on you or lagging, just simply say, you know what? I see this is going nowhere. Clearly you have no interest. Good luck to you. That's it. That's all. That's what I do. I'm not gonna lie. It's happened to me many times with females that I thought could have been options. I know you're not interested. Good luck to you. That's it. You don't have to say fuck you, bitch. You're a fucking hoe. You don't have to say shit. All you gotta say is, I understand. It's clear that you're not interested. Good luck. That's all you gotta do. And then a girl will look at that and say, wow, he probably has options. If you're a high enough tier guy, they'll say, wow, he has options. And some of them might come back. I've had that happen. They might come back to you and be like, I'm sorry. Like, it works. Trust me. I feel like social media has numbed girls these days. Here's the thing with girls. Privilege is unknown to those who have it. Women are extremely privileged. They get DMs, they get compliments in the fucking messages and Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So to them, it's normal. They think they're the shit, right? So they are numb to guys trying to get at them because they're so used to it, right? They're so used to having this privilege due to their looks, due to social media making it easy as ever for them to display their beauty. And that's their primary commodity in the dating culture, right? Is their beauty. So they're used to being the shit amongst men. Most girls think they're God's gift to men, to be honest with you. Most men think that. They really do. Oh, excuse me. Most women think that they're God's gift to men. So you gotta really humble a woman, by being upfront, being dominant, etc. Because then they respect you, then they admire you, and then they'll like you. If they think you're a fucking loser, simp, you're not getting anywhere. Favorite character in DBZ? Mine would probably be Future Rage Trunks. DBZ. Probably Vegeta. Vegeta might still be my favorite character. I know Goku and Vegeta are always talked about who's better character. Vegeta just represents this pride, right? And he's given some very good dialogue throughout the years. His speeches, his polarizing figure. I really fuck with Vegeta, man. I really do. He's what every man should try to be. He never settles. His ambition never wavers. And he's a true Saiyan, for sure. True Saiyan. Eminem before he got clean was mad dope. Facts, definitely. Dubbing as in getting phone numbers. Oh, I thought you meant rejecting. Getting phone numbers? So when you get a phone number, numbers, a date. You got to be very casual about it. Make her feel comfortable, safe, and then begin to admire you, right? Don't be too timid, too tense, because they can read that and they'll look at that as weakness, and then they'll be turned off, and then they'll just use you, or they'll try to end the date quickly and never talk to you again. You got to establish dominance. You got to establish this sense of superiority. Sounds fucked up, but that's what women really want deep down. They don't want equal. They always say, oh, it's 50-50. It's bullshit. You don't want 50-50. You don't want 50-50. You want someone superior, someone that you admire, someone that you're in awe of. That's what women want. So you gotta approach women in that way. You gotta try to carry yourself in a certain way, right? Have the confidence. Don't second guess yourself. Make the decisions, etc. And of course, you gotta be chivalrous. Don't be a fucking dickwad either. That's not gonna work. It only works for people that are like top 1%, and even then, it doesn't work sometimes. So, all that matters. What are you looking for in a long-term relationship girl when you first meet a girl? I kind of put girls through these trials with questions and how they present themselves and their consistency. If red flags appear, then they're just temporary, But if they pass tests and they're consistent, it can become long-term and they can become a main chick, So it's usually the case. All right, folks, feel free to ask any more questions. Again, thanks for all the donations. I really appreciate it. They will go all back to the channel. I promise you that. That's a fact. And appreciate all the good questions. A lot of great questions. If Pain was still alive in Boruto, would he be fodder? Yeah, he would be. Any of the inners would look at him and would fling him away. Simply fling him away like fodder. Boro would look at him and fucking annihilate him. It would not go well. How long have you been streaming for? How long have I been streaming for? Hour and 30. Not too long. I'll stick around longer. Especially since you guys are donating, I appreciate that. So I owe you guys a longer stream. So. Bro wants to donate but doesn't have money. Let me know. Any donations are appreciated, for sure. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Yeah, unfortunately, as far as Boruto, all the villains in fucking Naruto are fodder. Besides Kaguya, even Jubidar will get fucking folded. Most likely by especially the top tier Boruto villains. So, it's unfortunate, especially someone like Madara who's that cool. They don't stack up. They get blown away. It's not even a competition, to be honest. So, unfortunately, it's happening to Naruto and Sasuke now. Unfortunately, now they're the ones being fodderized and forgotten about and tossed to the side because it's the passing of the torch. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate both Kedrick Adams. I appreciate Orochimaru once again for another $5. Appreciate you guys. It's heavily. I appreciate it. Let's see. Gotta give you props. You're the only man I know that can sit and watch a 6-hour video. Appreciate that, brother. Later, gotta go. All right, peace out, Orochimaru. Appreciate the donations, brother. Becoming good content soon. And yeah, as far as that 6-hour video, that was tough. That was tough for me to sit there and not move. But I had to give you guys what you guys want, And I know that was a great video by Seth. It was a great video. Top 10 in War Art fodder as Pain. That's facts. It's unfortunate, but that's facts. Heavy facts. Heavy. But as far as call-ins, I'm planning on doing maybe the next podcast I'll do a call-in thing. I have to figure out how I would do that exactly. You guys can ask your questions or whatever. As far as debating, I don't know if maybe with the right donation, I'll debate. If you donate and they want to call in, maybe I'll debate or you ask me a question. I'll try to regulate it so it goes smoothly, Have you seen My Hero Academia? I have not, but that's another one on the bucket list. There's several. Baki, I gotta finish Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia. There's a lot I gotta finish. I want to donate, but it says, unfortunately, this feature isn't yet available in your region. It's all good, brother. It's all good. But yeah, here's the common trend with anime, at least fighting based. As time goes on, villains increase in power, you know, and some people don't like to accept that, you know. So that's why Madara is fodder compared to Ishiki. Fodder. You get fucking slapped. You know, even though people revere him. Or Itachi's fodder now. As much as people want to revere him. It is what it is. Even Naruto and Sasuke are arguably fodder now. And we love them. You know, change is inevitable. Power scaling continues to evolve and progress. Appreciate it, Luis. Thanks for the $1 donation, brother. Appreciate it. Boruto Kage are on another level. Unfortunately, that's the case. Yeah, they were able to contend with Kinshiki, who's a fucking Otsutsuki, and kind of did. I mean, they didn't really do much to Momoshiki, but they were able to do something, which implies their level. You know, what caliber of shinobi they really are. Muzan versus Chunin Exam Sasuke. I don't think I'm familiar with Muzan. Let me see what that's from. Oh, Demon Slayer. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Demon Slayer yet. Thankfully, I think it's not too long, so once I do get in it, it won't take that long. Bleach is going to take a while for me to completely finish, but I will finish it. I will finish it, and I will be able to power scale it efficiently in time. I'm only able to power scale Ichigo up until episode 30 right now, so I know he gets vastly more powerful. Bleach is actually pretty good, I'm not going to lie. Is it better than Naruto or Dragon Ball? I don't know about that, but it's pretty good. One Piece, now that's going to be a fucking grind to get done. That's going to be a grind, for sure. By the way, folks, if you guys aren't in my Discord, go ahead and join. I try to at least try to talk to folks in there when I can. Focus on Bleach first. Yeah, definitely will. I'm actually quite intrigued by it. I like the power scaling aspect. I like the abilities that some of these Soul Reapers have. It's very interesting. Very interesting. I'm familiar with the Quincy now. The Quincy are pretty cool. You know, see how that goes. I had a really big argument with someone that says Itachi is slower than sound because he got affected by Kabuto's. Did I really just say Kabuto? Kabuto's sound genjutsu. Yeah, he's not the speed of sound. That's not correct. That's definitely not. He's much faster than that. Much faster. Kabuto had to get to him first to activate the genjutsu, you know. But yeah, like I said, if you're not on my Discord, it's in the description. It's a debate Discord, you know, and you guys can debate each other. I'll eventually be trying to debate you folks for fun. I had something called J Wars, similar to Seth's Broly Wars. I intend on having another one soon. Obviously, I got to prepare for that since I'm debating several individuals. But yeah, books or audiobooks. I don't really read. You know, I find it kind of rigorous, so I'm more of an audio guy. So probably audiobooks, for sure. I'm not into debating, just talking. Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to debate in the Discord. You can just, you know, sometimes I have watch parties. In fact, I plan on possibly doing a watch party to the new Dragon Ball sometime next week. I was going to do it this week, but I was busy working on the Hokage ranking video, so I didn't have time to do that, but possibly a watch party. And you guys could actually watch the fucking movie, you know. I haven't seen it yet, so. Or watch Kenobi. I haven't caught up to Kenobi yet. With Kenobi, with the first season being now concluded, so. Do you have a job outside of YouTube? Yeah, I do. Hopefully, it becomes more and more of a side hustle. Do you have debates on YouTube? If so, where can I find them? If you go to my channel, go to playlists, you'll see debates. Most of them are me. There's a couple that I had some friends debate each other, but. Recently, I debated a female on dating culture, so if you want to see that, it's pretty wild. But I've debated Death Note, Dragon Ball, I've debated Naruto. I've debated Drake's versus Kanye's album. It's all on the playlist. So yeah, I have several debates. Is sex truly everything in a relationship? depends on which side, female or male. To females, it's not that big of a deal. Security, provision, security, dominance, and overall sense of having a provider is probably more important to them. For males, I mean, sex is pretty important, but I think as it becomes more and more long term, what becomes more important is like support, nurturing, etc. That becomes more important. Consistency, loyalty, right? Sex is important though. I mean, it's an important aspect. I'll say that. It's not everything though. No, it's not. It's much more important to men though. Let's be honest. Not in an emotional sense, but in a biological sense. Not emotional, because men can fuck tons of girls and not care about them. It's fucked up as that sounds. That's the truth. So, that's why guys have side pieces, girls don't. Girls with their hot girl summer, it's summer for a reason. It's seasonal. They can't do that long term. They can do it maybe a month, 2, 3. The average girl can't do that for years on end. It's not optimal for a woman. I'm glad you ranked Kakashi over Tsunade. Many have it the other way around. Yeah, you know why? It's because a lot of people revere Tsunade's feat against Madara. Madara thought she was fodder. Like, never did she threaten him. There's nothing to insinuate. She's like almighty, powerful. Nothing insinuated that. Yeah, she cracked his Susanoo. I understand that. Took a couple hits. She had help. He destroyed all the Kage. Fucking fodderized all of them. That's the only thing that people use to try to revere her as something she isn't. That's the only thing. They're like, she was mentally armed during the war arc. She got her ass beat. She cracked his Susanoo. He was toying with them. Toying with their asses. Like, they were fucking toys to him. He even asked them, how do you want to die? This way or this way? That's how easy it was for him. So, Kakashi's definitely stronger than Boruto. Definitely. They were already comparable in the war. Now, no. It's not even debatable. Exactly, he was laughing. How strong would Neji be in Boruto if he never died? That's interesting. If his progression kept going, as a shinobi, maybe the strongest Hyuga ever. You could definitely assume that. Would he still be able to contend with Rock Lee? That's a good question. I don't think he'd contend with 8 Gates Rock Lee. I doubt that, but maybe he would be so good with his Byakugan and his Taijutsu. Maybe he'd be able to contend with 6 Gates, 5, 6 Gates. It's hard to quantify how strong he would really be. It's hard to quantify that. But I think he'd be one of the top Jonin in the league for sure. And be very respected, for sure. He'd be one of the top guys. It'd probably be Naruto, Sasuke, the top dogs. Then you have Sakura, and then maybe Rock Lee if you can use 8 Gates. And then after that, it'd probably be Neji. Neji, who else is out there? Shikamaru, I mean, he's not known for his battle prowess. You got Choji. Yeah, Neji would be like top 5, arguably, like those folks. Investing or your own business? I think both. I think you should see all your options. Now, I'm gonna recommend this podcast, Fresh and Fit. I know some people are like, that's a disgusting ass fucking pod. It's not. It teaches you a lot. What they preach is that you should use every source you can to make money. Invest, start your own business, work your side hustle in some 9 to 5. Unless you find a 9 to 5 you really like, then that would be your thing. So everything you can do, try it. If you have the means, if you have the money for it, invest. If you want to be an entrepreneur, use a side hustle. A degree would help. College. Do you have to go to college? No, you don't. You don't have to go to college. It'd be useful. It'd be helpful. But it's not the end all be all. So you really don't. And if anything, college is more so, eat the meat, throw it with a bone. Honestly. So to be honest, college is a lot of indoctrination. Let's be honest, man. A bunch of bullshit. That's why the STEM majors are safer, because they don't deal with fucking this bullshit ideology. Insane. If Rock Lee and Gaara had a rematch, who'd win now? If Rock Lee has 8 Gates, then it's over. I wonder if Kishimoto would try to retcon a part of the story, like reviving a few Uchiha by saying they were off village. It's not something that I would see Kishimoto doing. You know, he doesn't really retcon like that, but that'll be interesting. If you got to become a Naruto character, which one would you choose? Probably. Who would I choose? Probably Minato, because he's the most badass, or Kakashi. Someone with swag. I need to have swag in that verse. What would you rank Might Guy versus Madara in favorite fights in Naruto? So my favorite personal fight of all time is probably, what would be my most favorite fight ever? There's a lot of good ones. It might be Rock Lee versus Gaara, but there's also Naruto versus Sasuke Valley at the end. Might Guy versus, if I had to put them somewhere, Might Guy versus Jubidar would probably be top 5. So I would have Rock Lee versus Gaara up there, Naruto versus Sasuke Valley at the end, Pain versus Naruto, Might Guy versus Rock Lee, Might Guy versus Jubidara, and then what else would I put up there? I kind of like Danzo versus Sasuke just because of the ass whooping he gave Danzo, for sure. Did you answer the Frieza question? Oh, that question. I think it was, what if Frieza got his wish for immortality? Well, essentially, the Saiyan race would probably go extinct. Since you can't kill him, even if he is weaker, he could hypothetically and theoretically just outlast everyone. You can't kill him. But also, you could counter and say, well, you can't kill him, but maybe you can beat him down so bad that he is incapacitated. You could also argue that. It depends how strong he is when he becomes immortal. Right? He's not known to train much. But if he was immortal, let's say when it was Resurrection of Frieza and becomes immortal, he probably would have beaten Goku and Vegeta just because he can outlast them, arguably. So, the Saiyan race would be in danger, including Vegeta and Goku. So, I'm one of the few who really like Sasuke. That was a good fight, actually. I like the strategic aspect. Sasuke was very strategic in that fight. Besides the Leaf Village, who do you think is the strongest village? Let's see. I would say probably the Stone. I mean, they've had... No, actually, the Stone of the Cloud. Because the Cloud had the Raikages. They've had the 4th and the 3rd. Alright, the 4th was only inferior to what? Arguably the 4th? The Hokage, I mean. 4th Raikage was only inferior to, like, the 4th Hokage. Maybe he might have been inferior to Hiruzen at that point, arguably as well. Probably the Cloud, I would say. Probably the Cloud. It's between the Stone and the Cloud, I'd say. Goku would technically seal Frieza with the Mafuba. Cloud has Raikages and 2 perfect Jinchurikis. That's right. So probably the Cloud. They do have the Jinchurikis, which are fucking dangerous. So, Killer Bee is a beast. But speaking of Dragon Ball, I've seen a statement that suggests, I believe it was by Toriyama himself. He says that if Cell would have reached Cell Max, he would have been stronger than Broly. That's fucking wild. It's fucking wild. So we have someone that's stronger than Broly. Damn. And then we have Beast Gohan, I believe that's what it's called. Beast Form Gohan. It's a new Gohan, new form of Gohans. Very interesting. We gotta watch that movie in the Discord soon, for sure. Alright, I gotta see that shit for myself. If you handled a DBZ and Naruto crossover film, what would you make the characters do and what would happen? And Gohan one-tap Cell. Yeah, exactly. That motherfucker, like, one-shotting Gogeta? Like, what the fuck's happening here? I don't know about that, but god damn, he's powerful. If there was a crossover film between Dragon Ball and Naruto, the thing is, Dragon Ball is vastly superior, so they would have to retcon that Dragon Ball to make the movie, and even close to entertaining. I think a cool story would probably be maybe if Madara and Frieza joined forces or some shit, and Goku and Naruto join forces or something like that. Something like that would be cool. Who would you wish had more lore behind them besides what the narrative gave us in Naruto? Who deserves more lore? Maybe someone like... Let's think. Who deserves more lore? Honestly, someone like Neji or Rock Lee. I just don't think they have enough lore. You know, I honestly think they deserve more. And they had potential to be great. You know, both of them did. Neji or Rock Lee. Rock Lee had that lore early on and then got defeated by Gaara and just kind of got tossed to the wayside. Neji, after losing to Naruto, same thing. They had potential, man. Tenten? I personally don't fuck with Tenten. She's ass. Spanish or black girls? Whew. Now this is gonna get me canceled. Spanish or black girls? It's a tough one because they both have ass genetically. What would I choose? I mean, probably Spanish. I like them both quite a bit. But Spanish. They're typically more traditional. I'm not getting canceled for that. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. They're more traditional. Let's be honest. Okay, Toriyama always finds a way to bring a dead army back to life. So, technically possible to think Kishimoto would be inspired by Toriyama and rather Uchiha. Yeah, but I think in a verse like Naruto, it would just make less sense. You know, because in Dragon Ball, you know, the dead and the living are like always closely related. They're always like together, like Goku dying a lot, going to the afterlife, coming back. Like Naruto doesn't really have that aspect. It's not as emphasized and it's not as natural. Like in Dragon Ball, it's more natural. Shin already tried that. Yep, that's facts. Some girls want all, but do the bare minimum. Why? It's because of self-entitlement. Self-entitlement has created this false sense of value. You know, they think all they have to do is show up, that their presence is so valuable that all they have to do is show up and we have to give them the world in the palm of their hand. But then when they mess with the top tier guy, they realize that that's bullshit, and then that they also got to provide some kind of value themselves. So, self-entitlement, it's privilege, etc. And again, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just the messenger. I just say it how it is. You know, men have advantages that women don't either. You know, we can fuck chicks and get praised for it. Girls get called hoes. You know, so I give credit where credit's due to both sides. You know, men have some advantage, but to be honest, women have it much easier. Much easier. This is facts. Lore about 8 Gate. Yeah, maybe for Rock Lee. Yeah. For sure. Is there any more questions here? So you can find any up here. I think there was a question that I missed. I answered that one. I don't know how to believe a Genin like guy's dad could activate all 8. That's true. That's pretty true. That's bizarre. Biden versus Hiruzen? Who's the better leader? That's a tough one. They're both weak-spined, beta, just soy boys, man. Let's see. Biden is a weak-willed, half-dead man. Hiruzen has some similarities. We gotta compare feats. We have to compare feats here. So, let's talk about the legislation that they have influenced. Joe Biden, overall, right, has been a part of the tension with Russia and Ukraine, which is directly correlated to the rise in gas prices, weak leadership. He barely can even officiate as a president because he's half dead. He probably has dementia, let's be honest. So I would say Hiruzen is more intelligent for sure. His intelligence far surpasses Joe Biden. Joe Biden, his IQ is dwindling by the day. The guy can barely speak without fucking nearly having a fucking heart attack. Let's be honest. So Hiruzen is probably the better leader. They're both weak-willed, weak-spined. I think Hiruzen is more pure-hearted. Yeah. Yeah, Hiruzen can definitely ride a fucking bike. Biden can't do that. He scales above him in that manner. What anime would you rather be in, DBZ or Naruto? Depends. If I'm a civilian, probably Naruto, because DBZ has fucking solar system threats, universal plus threats, and I'm fucked. If I can be a Saiyan, then obviously Dragon Ball. Is there a moment that made you discover in-depth info about female nature? For me personally, the moment I really started to become aware of female nature was probably after delving into some more serious relationships. After that, that's when I began to realize female nature. I began to watch the Red Pill realm and realize what women truly are, right? What men truly are, and what we should be. It's probably then. What if Trump was still president? If Trump was still president, the gas prices would be low. The Ukraine incident might have never happened. I mean, Russia is a superpower, so it's not like they're going to be intimidated as North Korea was, because they're a superpower. However, I think Russia would have been more hesitant to engage in this kind of conflict, right? And I think it has to do with NATO, things of that nature. I'm not too into politics, but Trump, he gives off the impression that America is more serious about altercation. So he's more strong-willed. I would say a lot of things would be better. Yeah. Chocolate chip facts. 8-gate guy versus Raditz. Or Raditz eliminates. Raditz was probably large planet level. I'd have to go back and check that for sure. But, yeah, probably Raditz. Probably speed blitzes him and destroys him. Cat with Sharingan versus dog with Renegon. Cats are more crafty, but it depends on the breed of dog. If you have like a bloodhound or something like that, a very intelligent dog, then they would use the Renegon, and Chibaku Tensei the cat. Dai Loki. I don't think he's even small planet level. I definitely not large planet level. I doubt that. And his stamina would be an issue. So his stamina would be an issue. He can only last so long. Raditz in fucking base is superior to probably Jubidara, so I doubt it. What if 9/11 never happened? 9/11, I think, forever changed the United States, right? Because immigration and foreign policy changed forever. It changed drastically. And it will never change back. Kind of like COVID, right? The 9/11 effect. The effect of something so drastic, so impactful, that the U.S. forever changes its trajectory. So 9/11 had that kind of impact. It was a revolutionary moment as far as like changing the United States policy, right? They saw the damage that a more open policy type of immigration law did. It called it a fucking tragedy. It was fucking terrible. So it had a huge impact. If it never happened, we'd probably have the same kind of border we did previous. I believe it was more open border, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't alive back then, but I think the borders were sort of open. You really didn't have to, show your proof of citizenship and shit like that, because there was no fear of backlash or fear of threat. Let's see. Yeah, but COVID is similar in that sense. The medical field will never be the same. And people might never be the same, honestly. Orochimaru, what's going on, brother? Thanks for coming back. We're still going at it. I owe you guys a good stream because you guys donated. I appreciate every donation. Every donation. Where were you when you found out X and Kobe died? When X died, I was in high school still, and I was getting more and more into his music. It was a fucking shame, When Kobe died, we were like in the pre stages of COVID. I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was a hoax, to be honest with you. I really did. I mean, you is large planetary because of the God tree, but yeah, I mean, it's a really good battle in my opinion. You mean 8-Gate guy versus Raditz? I don't think so. I think even full power Naruto would have trouble. Possibly. Toneri versus Part 1 Piccolo. Training Kid Gohan. Probably Piccolo. I believe by then Piccolo already destroyed the moon, if I'm not mistaken. I would say easier and more substantially than Toneri cutting the moon in half. The gap in power is large when you compare Dragon Ball and Naruto. It's huge. Could adult Naruto and Sasuke handle Goku's training? Probably not. I think their very physical bodies would break under the pressure. Like put them in the gravity increasing room that Goku likes to use. If they're under 100 times gravity, I think that would crush them. I don't know. I don't think they have the as durable physiology as someone like Goku. You know, someone who's extremely durable, extremely durable. You know. What would happen if Kuririn actually kept his words and takes care of Naruto and train him like he trained the Sannin? Naruto would probably have a better childhood. Hiruzen would probably let people know, hey, he is the future. He's Minato's son. He's going to be the savior of the leaf. And Naruto would have grown up differently. It might have actually been detrimental to his evolution because what would have happened is he wouldn't have never had that conviction that that fostered in him through his experience. Right? What I think happened is those experiences cultivated his character. Him being ostracized, treated like shit, it built this anger in him, this ambition. So if he never would have had that, he would have been a different person. Probably less ambitious, to be honest. More coddled, right? A more coddled individual. So I think it would have been detrimental, and he would have had a good childhood. He probably still would have been strong. But yeah, I think it's better. Honestly, I think Naruto's route, the way it went, was better for him in the long run. Yeah. If we were to change Itachi into a straight up villain instead, what would be his motives? Maybe quiet desperation. I think something that would make sense is the fact that he became resentful of the Uchiha. He became resentful of their arrogance, and he was developing an arrogant and sort of, I don't want to say god complex, but like a superior kind of complex to where he felt like he was superior, right? We saw glimpses of it. I think it would have made sense that he would have sided with Danzo and said, fuck the Uchiha. I only care about my brother. I'm going to make sure he never grows up and becomes this arrogant asshole. So I'm going to kill all the Uchiha. So I think that would have been a reasonable motive to say, fuck the Uchiha. If he was a real villain, then he would have killed the Uchiha, and then he would have left the village. I don't think he would have traumatized Sasuke the way he did, because he wouldn't. Well, it depends on if he still cares about Sasuke the way he did. If we're assuming that he has malicious intent, then he would just let Sasuke be. Let's say he's still a villain, but he doesn't care. He doesn't make it a point of emphasis to have Sasuke hit him. He would just leave. And the tough part is, how would you give him a motive to want to extract all the tailed beasts? Like, that was never his motive. His motive was to protect the leaf, right, and protect his brother. But yeah, something like that would make sense. Let's see, there's a few questions here. What if the third Hokage trained Naruto? I think I already answered that. If he trained Naruto, he probably wouldn't want him to learn how to use the Nine Tails, since he had a bad experience fighting off the Nine Tails. So there's that. Yeah. He probably would have been pretty strong, though. He might have even tried to teach Naruto Flying Raijin. I know he doesn't probably know how to do it himself, but knowing that he's Minato's son, he'd probably want to do something like that. Probably try to lead him in a trajectory similar to Minato. What are some things that Naruto and DBZ characters could learn from each other? DBZ could learn how to use battle strategy better, because they're more brute rather than brain. I mean, they fight for a living. So Saiyans fight and improve as they battle. And Naruto, what could they learn from Dragon Ball? Maybe the pride thing. Vegeta could teach him a little about pride. I mean, Naruto has his pride, but Vegeta and Goku have a different level. Appreciate the $5, Orochimaru. Answer your question. What fight do you think would have been interesting to see in Naruto? What would have been a good fight to observe? Let's think about the characters here. A good fight. One that would have made sense too. That would have made sense narratively. Maybe something like... I mean, let's see. That's a good question. Trying to think of the villains and the good guys. What would have made sense? Maybe a true battle between Orochimaru and Sasori. Because there seemed some sort of rivalry was there. It seemed implied, right? Kabuto was pretending to be an undercover agent for Sasori. Orochimaru was allowing him to be that. I think that would have been a good battle. Orochimaru versus Sasori would have been interesting. As far as who would have won that, would have been very interesting. And Orochimaru has hacks abilities. He has probably immunities to certain things with him experimenting on his body. Sasori, is probably the best puppet user we've ever seen. That would have been interesting. Orochimaru versus Sasori going all out. Something I would have wanted to see for sure. What if Sasuke never learned it? Actually, let me read these up here. Who would you rather have, Naruto's power or Sasuke's? Sasuke's. I can go to different dimensions. Who you got, Borushiki and Kawashiki versus Baryon Naruto? Probably still Baryon Naruto. There's nothing for me to indicate that they're superior to Baryon Naruto. There's nothing even to indicate that Damon and Ida are superior to Ishiki. They're superior to Jigen, or at least Damon is. There's nothing to imply that they're superior to Ishiki. Not yet. Not yet. Let's see. What if Sasuke never learned the truth about Itachi? If he never learned the truth, then he might actually have a different trajectory as a character, right? Because once he learned is when he developed resentment towards the leaf, right? But he never learned. If he would have never learned about it, his goal would have been met. His goal would have been met, and he might have went back. He might have go back to the leaf, right? He might go back to the leaf, and it'd probably be easier to sway him because he wouldn't have this vendetta towards the leaf in the shinobi world because he doesn't know the truth. But then as an Edo, when the Edo Tensei begins and the war arc begins, he might learn anyway. Right? I would say Sasuke would probably be convinced to go back to the leaf and would remain as powerful as he is, right? Well, actually, he would still have EMS. I would say he wouldn't be in trouble at the end of the war arc. That's what I would say. He wouldn't be trouble at the end of the war arc because he wouldn't have that vendetta. So the war arc would have ended differently, right? Would have ended differently. So, yeah. What kind of sequel would you rather have seen to Naruto as opposed to Boruto? I would have liked to seen Kakashi's stories as Hokage, at least animated. Naruto and Sasuke stories, as they grow up, their evolution, power scaling wise, personality wise. Sakura, maybe see what she really is capable of, so the ambiguity can go away of revolving her power scaling. More of the shinobi, such as Rock Lee, Hinata, see what they do. To see more of them, because we just jumped straight to fucking Boruto about a kid we didn't really care about. It just seemed forced. But yeah, I would like them to build up to it more. See Hinata get pregnant, see all that, see Boruto born, see him grow up, all that shit. Like, don't rush it, Let's see. Sheesh, that would be fire. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, that fight, Orochimaru and Sasori. Hell yes. Definitely. Fortnite Sasuke versus Canon Sasuke. I mean, Fortnite Sasuke can barely break fucking trees, right? No matter what character you're using, you have to struggle to break a fucking tree with a fucking axe, so probably Canon Sasuke. Fortnite Sasuke can beat Thanos. Do you think Orange Mask Obito could 1v2 Itachi and Kisame? 1v2. He possibly could. If he has a vast gap enough as far as speed is concerned, then he could probably Conway both of them into the Conway dimension. So it's possible. That's if he doesn't get caught in Genjutsu, right? Or if Kisame doesn't get him with Samehada and absorb his fucking chakra. How powerful do you think Kratos is? Oh, Kratos is fucking cracked. I know he's like 40 minimum. Some of the things he does is fucking ridiculous. He's much more powerful than the conventional anime character. Fucking folds them. And I'm not even that familiar with it. I know Kratos is fucking cracked. Fucking cracked. I mean, he slays fucking gods that are fucking just ridiculously powerful. So he's way stronger than fucking anyone in Naruto. Probably way stronger than anyone in fucking Dragon Ball. He's fucking broken. What if the Akatsuki knew that Itachi was a spy? What would have happened is they would have approached it carefully. They probably would have sent, some powerhouses. And honestly, this is what I think. Theoretically, I think Kisame would have protected Itachi. I think he really cared about him. I think they had a real bond. But you could argue Kisame would feel betrayed. He'd be like, you fucking liar. You're just working for the Leaf. But Kisame, his ideology is somewhat gray. It's not black and white like a Hidan, or it's not black and white like a Kakuzu. He has some honor. I mean, he's a fucking killer and a villain, but it's arguable whether Kisame would turn on him. That's probably the only guy that might not. But what they would do is they would probably tag team him and present him the most difficult opponents, right? So, or maybe make it quick and swift. Tasasori poison him or some shit, which would not be easy since he is so intelligent. But it would not go well for Itachi. It would not go well. If not Konoha, which country would you like to see host Chunin exams? What's the coolest village? Maybe the Mist Village because of the history. Mike Tyson versus Bruce Lee. I've discussed this before. Bruce Lee, right? I know he's idolized as this revolutionary pioneer in martial arts, which he is. He was an intellectual. However, as far as his skill as a fighter, there is, I believe, a clip of him fighting an amateur or maybe a semi-pro fighter, and him competing with that guy. He's not destroying him. Bruce Lee, compared to Mike Tyson, it's night and day, because Mike Tyson was 220, the heavyweight champion of the world. He would execute guys in under one round for like 15 fights in a row. He's probably damn near 100 pounds heavier than Bruce Lee. And one shot from a man that much bigger, that talented, that quick, would probably knock Bruce Lee the fuck out. I don't think Bruce Lee would be able to do anything to him, to be honest. Anything. EMS Sasuke and Edo Itachi versus KCM2 Minato. EMS Sasuke and Edo Itachi versus KCM2 Minato. Versions matter, but if we're talking about the EMS that accompanied Edo Itachi versus Kabuto versus KCM2 Minato, then probably KCM2 Minato, I would assume. KCM2 Minato is faster than he was when he was alive, when he was already the fastest on Earth. Faster than the Red Kage. So you could assume he's faster than KCM1 Naruto was at the beginning of the war arc. By quite a bit, since he's KCM2. Probably KCM2 Minato. If we're talking about EMS Sasuke later on in the war, like damn near before getting 6 past, it might become more contentious, but Spider-Man Tobey Maguire versus Tom Holland. I mean, we did see Tobey catch, bloodlusted Tom Holland's attack to Green Goblin. We did see that. He stopped it, and that was bloodlusted Tom Holland, trying to kill Green Goblin. He stopped it casually and looked at him in the fucking eye and said, don't do this. So I'll probably go with Tobey. Spawn versus Kratos. I'm not really familiar with Spawn. I'm not familiar with Sora that much either. Weighted Goku and Budokai versus weighted Lee with his gates. Weighted Goku and Budokai. I think by then his power level was already quite substantial. I'd have to go back and see his exact power level, but probably Goku. A legend versus legend fight. John Wick versus Agent 47. Let me look up Agent 47. Maybe I can remember what that is. Oh, I remember. Okay. From the Hitman game, that's right. I'm not too familiar with their feats. Not too familiar with their feats. John Wick, maybe? How truly strong is KCM2 Minato? He's pretty fucking strong. Consider the fact that he was already the fastest shinobi on Earth previous to his death, and then he gets KCM2 buff on top of that. Look at how much faster Naruto got with the KCM, and then KCM2. He is probably the fastest guy on the field until Naruto gets 6 pass, as far as the good guys are concerned. He was probably the fastest guy there. He's very powerful. Alive base Hashirama equals EMS Madara. Then Sage Hashirama is above EMS Madara with Kurama. So what is the match between Alive Sage Hashirama and Alive Renegon Madara? That's a good point. Good attempt to scale. So Alive base Hashirama. It's hard to quantify how much stronger Alive Renegon Madara is. He outsped Tobirama, so I would assume his speed increased. But then you could argue Tobirama was nerfed, but I would argue not by much. I would say speed is probably superior to that of Hashirama's, and then you also got to bring into consideration his Renegon abilities, his ability to absorb ninjutsu, etc. I'm gonna have to go with Alive Renegon Madara, possibly. I think his Renegon abilities and his amplification and power would be too much. Because we could assume he'd still use the Nine Tails. Probably. Most likely. Probably Alive Renegon Madara. Probably. That's contentious, though. If you were in charge of the future of the MCU, what would your plans be and why? I would want Spider-Man to probably be the leader of the next generation. I'd want to incorporate new characters, make them mainstream. You got to make people mainstream like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. You got to bring in new guys that can have that kind of impact. It's tough to replicate, the first wave. Some characters that could be introduced, maybe Nova. Some other guys. They'd have to not force it, right? Take their time like they did with, I believe it was Phase 4 or Phase 3 with Iron Man, Thor, etc. Take their time. Build up the names, build up the legacy, the lore. That's how you make billions of dollars in the box office. Daredevil's a good one as well. If you were okay, I just read that. Marvel Comics or DC? Comics. So if we're talking comics, I mean, I've read many good stories of both. What seems to appeal to me more might be DC, and Marvel buries DC as far as live action, easily. As far as animated films, DC might take the cake. I've seen some very good DC animated films. Very, very good. Who you got? Sarada or Three-Eyed Madara? Not a joke. Sarada was able to blitz Boro. Boro is an inner in the Kara. And was stated to be relative to, I believe, Delta. Right? Delta and him are relative. Now, the question is, how powerful is Delta and Boro? Delta was able to contend with a handicapped 6-pass Naruto. I know some people say he was mentally amped. No, he was handicapped. He couldn't go all out in the village. He had to keep an eye for his children and fucking Kawaki. So Delta's not as strong as people say, in my opinion. Her taijutsu is pretty good. She was able to swap hands with 6-pass Naruto, using his Kurama cloak. That's pretty impressive. So her taijutsu is pretty good. Pretty good. Some people think she can beat Momoshiki. I highly doubt that. Highly. I would say Sarada might have the adequate speed to blitz Three-Eyed Madara, right? But then you have to also take into consideration his power scaling is ambiguous as well, right? And at that point, he has the ability to use infinite Tsukunome. So if he uses that, it's GG, unless Sarada can theoretically blitz him before he can use it. Right, but then you also got to take into consideration he can regenerate, so there's that as well. Based off scaling, I would tend to lean towards Sarada, but it's very ambiguous because the infinite Tsukunome, the fact that he can regenerate, and the fact that it's hard to quantify how exactly strong Boro and Delta are. Right. So yeah, it's very tough. Inner car bare minimum as strong as base Otsutsuki. That's a good baseline actually. Delta slams Kaguya and Kaguya slams three-eyed Madara. I don't know about slams Kaguya. I don't know about that. Kaguya is relative to Momoshiki. I think Momoshiki is superior, but I think she's not too far off from his level. At least base Momoshiki. Alright, so I see some Star Wars questions. In fact, I'm posting a Star Wars related reaction today. Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Diva Pain. Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of the strongest Jedi to have ever lived of all time, right? Now, old Ben, was stated to be able to contend with Darth Vader, who had decades of training. And they're scaling to suggest those guys are many planet plus level AP. The Force is a very interesting topic to talk about. I think Kenobi probably destroys him, to be honest, based off what I do know. Want to see some Wolverine in the MCU? Yeah, I love Wolverine. Kenobi versus Kylo Ren is where it's at. That's interesting. I would love to see that. Kylo Ren is quite powerful. I'd like to see how he would do against Kenobi. Yeah, definitely. I know Legend Star Wars and Disney Star Wars, I think they're different continuities, if I'm not mistaken. How strong do you think Prime Hiruzen is? Now that's a very tough question because it's stated he was the strongest Hokage ever, even stronger than Hashirama. Now, I tend to agree with the notion that Hiruzen was retconned after Part 1 Naruto. Because Part 1 is when it was stated he was the strongest ever. So, now I would say he was probably superior to Tobirama in his prime. Would he be superior to Minato? I don't think so. Retcon Prime Hiruzen, that is. So he's somewhere in between Tobirama's level and Minato's. He's in the middle somewhere. That's where I would put him. He's definitely not the strongest Hokage. Not now. Not now. Okay, I just read that. I have a theory. Yin Kurama, 50 Yin Kurama, 50 so is merged Kurama, 100. Where is it? Above. Does both combine give stronger buff? Okay, so you're asking about half Kurama and half Kurama. Yeah, it definitely gives a stronger buff, I would assume. Having full Kurama would give the strongest buff, for sure. You have all his chakra to use at your disposal. Darth Vader versus Kylo Ren is actually something I'm super interested in. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully the power scaling becomes more apparent in the Disney continuity. Star Wars scaling is so whack. There's a lot to it. You gotta really be involved in that power scaling. What about Limbo? Limbo's a pretty interesting ability. Favorite Kage to exist in the Naruto verse? Minato, easy. It's space magic. It's really gonna be really wacky. Yeah, but the Force is like, it's almost like a living force of nature. You know, the Force, it goes to those who are worthy of it, right? That's why Skywalker, at least in the Legends continuity, is scared of going all out. So essentially, he's always holding back because he's scared that the dark side will come into him. That's why he's always holding back, right? So theoretically, he could be the strongest Jedi of all time, right? Especially Grandmaster Luke. Star Wars is interesting. I've gone kind of into it. Not too into it, not as much as Naruto or anything like that, but it's very interesting. Alright. Alright, I'll go for another 15 minutes. I got you guys. Feel free to ask any questions. Got you guys with another long stream. Trying to make this weekly, for sure. Appreciate all the donations, by the way, folks. And one more time, if you guys donate 20, I will... So I already committed to reacting to Noodle's Naruto Uni video. If 20 is donated, I will fucking roast him. And you guys will see it. I will post it, I swear to God. I don't give a fuck if he sees it, honestly. But 20, and I'll do it. If you guys want to see me roast him. So I'll make it a point of emphasis to roast Noodles and his bullshit. So if you guys want to see that. It's an offer. 20 donation or more, I'll do it. That's just the last time I'll mention it. Let's see. Adult Sasuke and Naruto versus Krillin with intent and healthy. Now that one I think has been discussed. Actually, no, that was a different video actually. Krillin. If you're talking about Super now, he fucking obliterates them. I mean, he was able to stalemate Super Saiyan God, I think Blue Goku, and Kamehameha. You could argue he was holding back, obviously, against Krillin, but still, that's a God Key Goku on top of another Super Saiyan buff, which is ridiculous. So yeah, they're on a whole different level. Luffy probably like multi-continental. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with One Piece, but that's another one on the bucket list. Patrick Bateman from American Psycho versus Driver from Drive. Huh. Power scaling serial killers is interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen either one. I'm not gonna lie, even though I am a movie enthusiast. How strong do you think Boruto Orochimaru is? There's nothing to really imply he's got any stronger. He seems to kind of settled down. I still think he's very formidable. Very formidable. Probably not much different than Naruto. There's nothing to assume. You could assume he's done more experiments on himself. Maybe he's amped his power some more. I would say he's not much stronger. I wonder how powerful Anakin Skywalker is if he remains a Jedi. Would it be the strongest Jedi? Theoretically, would, right? He's related to Luke. Luke, theoretically, is the strongest. Last five for my $20 donation, or did it have to be all in one? No, it doesn't have to be all in one. No, I'll be fair. Let's see the donations. To roasting fucking noodles. Alright, so you donated 5, that's 10. 10 more. I'll do it. 10 more, I'll roast fucking noodles. Honestly, fuck noodles, on God. Alright, how strong do you think Boruto Orochimaru? Alright, just answered that. I wonder how... Okay, so I was talking about Anakin. Yeah, so Luke, Grandmaster Luke, is theoretically the strongest Jedi we've ever seen, related to Anakin. Anakin at full potential, right, was stronger, is arguably stronger than that. I think he was able to face the Force, something like, I think it was along the lines of the Force itself or some shit like that. Yeah, so he probably would be the strongest Jedi ever. Probably, yeah. The Skywalkers just seem to be the chosen ones, hence Anakin's named the Chosen One. So. I wonder how powerful... Okay, I just read that. Dual Tomo Rinnegan Sasuke versus Barry on Naruto. Fucking Barry on slams. Oh, shit. That's the 10. Hey, I'm a man of my word. So, Tuesday, be ready. I'm going to roast the fuck out of noodles. I'm gonna watch this show. I'm not even gonna get into power scale. I'm just gonna. Maybe I'll get into a little bit if something catches them. I'm just gonna roast the fuck out of them, and I'll post it. So be prepared Tuesday. I'm gonna roast the fuck out of noodles. All right. I'm gonna bring out my inner Seth and 6. Just fucking troll, bro. That's what I'm gonna do. Biggest takeaway from this week alone. It's usually the same. It's a consistency and hard work leads to good things, you know. For sure. What phone do you have? We got iPhone 11. I think I have a 12. I think. Sasuke ain't have no chakra for dual Tomo Rinnegan. That Barry mode is the biggest buff I've ever seen. He fucking slaps. Is Tobirama scaling is so stupid? Who, Noodles? Yeah, sure. He thinks Tobirama's faster than Jubito. Fucking stupid, man. I don't care if you do, bro. That's up to you. Hey, yeah, for sure. I appreciate the 10, though. Noodles a Kakuzu wanker? Yeah. That's the one. Eight guy versus Tien. Cell Arc. Oh, Tien is already a different level, man. He's fucking slapping 8 guy. Sarcastic Swag versus brainstorming Seth. Who wins? Seth is probably the best debater I've ever seen. As far as anime, you know, the best pure debater I've ever seen is probably like someone like maybe Ben Shapiro or some shit. He's like godly, but Seth is the best anime debater I've ever seen. Swag's not really a debater. He's not really a debater. So Seth, yeah, Seth in a debate, almost any scenario wins. Unless they're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh or some shit. I think he knows more than Seth about Yu-Gi-Oh. They're both equal. Who's both equal? I'll take care, guys. Appreciate it, Luis. Thanks for the donations, brother. Did you know it's implied that the humans are relative to Super Saiyan by the Cell games? Exactly. Exactly. Thanks, bro, for a great stream. Appreciate it, Luis. Not at all. But the Cell arc, dude, all the fucking Z fighters are fucking a different level, man. Iem and Sasuke versus Pain. Depends on the respective version. If it's the end of War, he destroys Pain. If it's the very, very beginning, when he first gets it, it'd be contentious. I think he was inferior to Edo Itachi when they fought Kabuto. I still think he was slightly inferior. So, Edo Pain or Edo Nagato, what would he compare to him? I mean, Edo Itachi did blitz Edo Nagato. So, I'll probably lean towards Pain. It's hard to quantify. If it's end of War, Sasuke, yeah, he fucking destroys. Yeah, for sure. How about it just part 1 Tien? Like the very beginning Tien? Could be different. Because the way Dragon Ball's power scaling works is the very, 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 very beginning when Goku was a kid and shit, they probably could be defeated by top tier Naruto characters, but his progression is so substantial. By the time he's in the fucking Saiyan arc, he's arguably stronger than anyone, besides maybe Ishiki and shit. You know? The progression is much more vast. Their power reaches a whole different level. So. Yeah, pre-training, yeah, that makes sense. Before training for the Saiyans, yeah, he probably loses. Kamui, both Sharingan versus Limbo. Well, I mean, the guy with the Kamui wouldn't be able to see the guy using Limbo, so Limbo, right? Kid Buu slaps Baryon Naruto, probably. But Kakuzu slaps Kid Buu. Facts. That's facts. Kakuzu slaps all of fiction. Besides someone like Popeye, who's like 4D, 5D. So. Limbs broken, but double Kamui is way too OP. It took someone like Akashi to Otsutsuki level. True, but you can't see what you're fighting, right? That's the problem. You can't fight what you can't see. Yeah. Aoba solos. Facts. He's omnipotent, that's for sure. Any more questions here? Hey, by the way, guys, I would have let that one guy that was here earlier sing for 3 minutes if he would have donated 500. Deadass, I would have let him. No joke. But he chickened out. Or maybe his bank isn't that heavy. You know, his pockets aren't that full. It's all good, though. I would have literally let him. I probably would have clipped it. Fuck it, you know. Probably would have clipped it and reposted that as a single clip. For $500, fuck it, you can sing on it for 3 minutes. I don't care. Let's see any more questions here. Limbs broken, but double combo is way too OP. Oh, I just read that. Good. Super Saiyan 3 Goku's underrated and not appreciated. Yeah, as far as aesthetics, I don't think it's the coolest. I think the long hair was kind of weird. I get it though. The hair was getting longer and longer. I understand that, but aesthetically not the coolest. Probably Super Saiyan 2 was pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, maybe they could incorporate into Ultra Instinct. Maybe get a new form where his hair is white and long, and he's fucking, I don't know, some other new form. That'd be cool, yes. Yeah, but Limbo's ability becomes irrelevant if you're faster than the user. If you're faster than Limbo clones, they won't touch you. Yeah, but Kamui and Limbo, right? They're abilities that you don't have to take speed into consideration. If you're taking speed into consideration, then yeah, the guy with the Kamui could just Kamui the other guy away before he can use Limbo. But if it's people with equal speed, then the guy simply won't be able to see it. So it depends on the parameters of the Kamui versus Limbo user. In your opinion, what's the strongest jutsu in all of Naruto besides plot armor and Talk no Jutsu? Baryon mode. Alright, Baryon mode. If that's a jutsu, I guess. Actually, be more of a form, huh? Jutsu. Jutsu. What would be the strongest jutsu? Let's see. Maybe Kaguya's expansive truth-seeking orb? The single strongest jutsu, right? I don't know. Yeah, expansive truth-seeker orb. Probably that. Yeah. How strong would Sasuke be if he had Talk no Jutsu? Shit, I mean, it'd be Naruto, yeah. He'd be as strong as Naruto. I mean, he already kind of is, but even more relative. Limbo is like pain in one way. Without prior knowledge or six-pass mode, you're done. Exactly. You can't see it. You'd have to be much faster to the point where you react before the other guy can literally fire synapses and take him out. Do you think well? I hope so. I truly do. Third rate Kage versus Kakuzu in terms of raw durability. Kakuzu transcends, the typical durability. He has raw durability. Raikage has great durability. Kakuzu has raw durability. There's a differentiation there, right? So, pragmatically, Kakuzu's durability is greater. He's omnipotent, right? Aoba, Kakashi, Kakuzu, and Noramangai are omnipotent. So, he transcends. Can you just give your takes while reacting, and after the reaction, just roast him? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, Ivanov. So you want me to react to it and then roast the shit out of him after? No, I got you, because you guys donated. I got you. I'll do that. Kakuzu wins, obviously. He's multi-continental. Yep, he is. Is Minato slower than the Raikage in traveling speed? Not teleportation speed, but movement speed. Movement speed. There's a anime clip, right, when he's reacting to... He's moving, right? And he's able to throw his kunai, and it's moving faster than the Raikage going towards him. So theoretically, it could be faster movement speed. Goodbye, nice stream. Looking forward to Noodles roast. Still can't believe I'm doing it, but I'm a man of my word. Fuck it. Let's stir up the melting pot. Why not? Those two guys from Naruto versus Kakuzu. Kakuzu wins. Do you think we'll ever learn about Prime Heroism? I don't see the point now. Maybe if Kishimoto wanted to just kind of clear up the whole ambiguity with that, then that'd be cool, but I doubt it. Heroism's the past, just like a lot of people are becoming. Yeah, I don't think we will, though. I doubt it. Alright, folks. A couple more minutes, and I shall depart. 3 more questions. Yo, throw me under the bus in that Noodles vid. Just say it was Orochimaru's fault. If that's what you desire. I don't give a fuck about Noodles, though, so... Heroes is irrelevant now, no point. That's facts. Damn right. Yeah. Noodles has ostracized himself from the community, being a little rat. That's what happens when you're a fucking rat like that. I'd rather not even affiliate with him. Me either, I don't even know who that is. Alright, folks, a few more questions. It's been a W fucking stream, for sure. But I'll try to do a call-in pod next week, possibly. It might be set up next week, probably for sure by the week after. I just gotta think of how I'd approach it. So, if Hiruzen intended to kill Oro, would he win? He implies that his old body doesn't, get the job done. So I would assume he wouldn't kill him. Maybe if he was bloodlusted from the very beginning, possibly. Maybe. Appreciate the $5 once again, Orochimaru. Then don't, bro. I'll still roast him. I got you guys. I'm mad at my word. You know, you guys do it 20. I don't give a fuck about them. I'm gonna roast them because you guys asked for it and donated for it. So I remember when Seth and Six fucking roasted NC Hammer, and that shit was hilarious. They fucking roasted the shit out of that guy. Now he hates them. He fucking hates them. Shout out to NC Hammer though. He's all right. Not the best power scaler, but he's all right. What if the legendary Super Saiyan is only one Super Saiyan? I think that's supposed to be the case, right? I think. Roast that motherfucker. Yeah, I got y'all. Maybe I'll even script it. Who gives a fuck? One more question, bro. I forgot to ask. Go ahead. A couple more. I shall depart. It's been a W stream, man. I appreciate all the fucking, all the donations, man. Heavily, truly. This is my first live stream. Definitely watching more. Appreciate it, brother, for sure. Try to make it better. Have call-in shows, shit like that. Have a host, maybe a co-host. I have a couple of friends that just been busy. Is Hemshirama Buddha statue semi-Ten Tails level? I would assume that his Buddha statue. Could it take on all tailed beasts simultaneously? Probably. However, the Ten Tails is exponentially times stronger. And the whole Shinobi Alliance had to take it on. I would say it's probably inferior to the Ten Tails, considering how much more powerful compared to all tailed beasts even combined are. Maybe a fraction? I don't know. Nah, it's weaker than Ten Tails. Yeah, it's definitely weaker. It's definitely not like relative. No way. When will your next live stream be? Probably either Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Try to have a call-in show. I want to make it like cool and have it flow organically. Shit like that. You know. Make it more interactive. Shit like that. Try to mix it up. If you guys have any like recommendations on the format, let me know as well now or in the comments or in my Discord. But by the way, join if you haven't. It's a debate Discord. You don't have to debate, by the way. You can just fucking chill, talk. We have watch parties. I might have a watch party next week for the new Dragon Ball movie, shit like that. So join the Discord if you have not already. All right, so right on, man. That sounds cool. Yeah, for sure. All right, folks. 2 more questions. I'll depart. 2 more. I've been at it for quite a while. Almost as long as the last one. And make sure to leave a like if you haven't already, by the way. It gets us up in the algorithm. Hit the sub button if you haven't already. It keeps the family growing. You know, keeps the ball rolling, keeps this train moving. So, villains stop being cocky now. What would happen to all your favorite anime? Essentially, the infrastructure of the anime world would cease. It would crumble because villains need to have arrogance. They need to have a god complex because that's their motive, you know, their sense of superiority. So, their sense of superiority. See you later. Thanks for keeping me entertained once again. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the donations once again. All you guys appreciate the donations. Do you watch the anime named Naruto? Hell yes. That is affirmative. Most definitely. Is Edo Shinobi 75% their prime? Otoberama stated that it's them near full power. Right, so I would say anywhere from 80 to 90%, including Kabuto's, which was a improved version of Orochimaru's shitty Edo Tensei when he fought Hiruzen. But alright, folks, I think it's gonna wrap it up. This was a fucking W stream, and you guys actually incentivized me to roast noodles. So that's gonna happen next Thursday. Next Tuesday, the video will be up. I appreciate all you guys coming in. Again, hit the like button, turn on bell notifications, stay updated with yours truly. Hit the sub button to become part of the family. Last question: what if Sasuke had a limbo? He would be more OP. He might even be able to beat Naruto. But yeah, folks, hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll catch you next one, folks. Stay classy.